Welcome to tonight's episode of Storm King Thunder, where me and a bunch of my nerdy-ass friends get together and we like to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Say Dungeons and Dragons. Say Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons!
Yeah! Rock on, little dude!
Click that. What's that?
Special guest appearance.
No, thank you.
Tonight, we are in session 41 of our campaign. Last week, the party delved into the Autumn Feywild, where they had quite a time. After navigating their way through the Autumn Court and making an arrangement with the Autumn Queen, they were able to agree to take care of a spirit that was causing them trouble, Urza, also known as He Who Bears. With defeating the spirit, they would gain passageway for themselves, as well as any strays that they picked up along the way. To which seemed to be a mutually beneficial arrangement that you guys accepted. You guys were led by Kaliana, the Servine Centaur, who led you deep within the Autumn Wilds, and after several hours of walking, actually had Urza sort of find you. You guys managed to take him down after a bit of a struggle, finding out that he was a cursed Uthgard that had been trapped within the Feywild. Urza and Gulbrand shared a bit of a moment as Urza explained, "Goblin, stop your barking." You're a bastard.
Yeah, just tell me if you can hear that shit.
Oh, yeah. After taking care of Urza, Gulbrand was able to absorb some type of power from him, some wisdom of the ancient Uthgard, who was able to pass on the ability to wild shape into much stronger creatures than Gulbrand had been able to previously. Afterward, Azazel revealed himself. Shortly before that, you guys had met up with 5 strangers who rushed to your aid, 2 of which were devoured by the bear, and from Gulbrand's visions later, seen hurtling through the realms, maybe back to Faerun? ? But shortly after, a demon known as Azazel revealed himself, a Feyre more specifically, who, after a little bit of narrating, revealed that he was not alone, with an Oni and a Rakshasa in his tow, but as well as Gideon, who promptly stabbed Gulbrand in the back, quite literally, and then a bitter fight ensued. Gulbrand went down, was brought back up. Gideon was enchanted to fight and apparently to kill. And once Gulbrand actually died, he seemed to snap out of his enchantment, his pact fulfilled, and seemingly overwhelmed with remorse, started firing on Azazel. Bergen Best Healer, was able to pick Gulbrand up and get him back on his feet with like 50 some odd hit points. Very impressive display of healing, and get right back in the fray, and through your combined might, take down Azazel, the Oni, Rakshasa. And that, my dudes, is where we left off. Before we jump back in, anything you guys want to comment, add, side remarks?
Gideon is older, in case you didn't know that.
Correct. Thank you for that. Yeah, Gideon seems to have aged maybe a decade, and you guys saw him less than 10 days ago. It's pretty jarring, actually. But with that, my dudes,
have not formally met this mysterious group of strangers that just helped us
whoop. You're correct.
They showed up to help us fight the bear, and then Azazel ganked us, and so yeah, weird shit going on.
For real. With that, we're gonna do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We haven't formally been introduced, you said?
Correct. I know you sent me that blurb, but we went from Barb and Ben were late, so the timeline kind of got shifted from what I was planning on. But no matter. I'm glad you're here for this, and Ben and Barb should be hopping on anytime now. We are going to do a little fuckery with some time, mostly just for dramatic purposes. We're actually going to pick up sort of in the middle of the previous combat. We're not going to be in initiative. We're not going to be making attacks. Everything that transpired and led to the end will happen the same way. We're just inserting a couple of things in that sequence of events. I would also like to thank Orin. Oh, yeah. We're going to penetrate right through the space-time continuum. I would like to thank Orin for providing us with this opportunity to do a little bit of remix. I'll even call it a flashback.
This flashback sponsored by Orin?
By Orin, yes.
Yeah.
By the way, Orin and Tabitha were both eaten by this giant spirit bear. And we don't know where they are. Hopefully we'll find him. We'll see.
I guess Goran should have some ideas.
Yeah,
So
he
were
knows.
these PCs from the little mini campaign you guys did?
They were indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, Tabitha was my
Okay.
character. Oren was Brandon's character. And then
Okay.
Josh, Barb, and Ben are obviously playing the three that they're still playing.
Gotcha.
It's just a nice little way to tie everything together and get rid of the. I'm picking up Ben right now, just waiting for him. Cool. But with that, Goldbrand. Everything is dark, silent, still. There is no pain, no thought, no memory. Only dark stillness. And then, from the darkness, dimly emerging, are small specks of white. Formless, distant, and yet familiar. And the word returns to you. Stars. You begin to recognize constellations you've tracked and followed for years. And then a new thought returns to you. The whole reason you watch the sky so carefully from your obsidian slate. And beneath your feet, a river of light approaches from behind, rushes under you, and snakes its way forward. The path. In front of you and behind you. Do you look forward or do you look backward?
Forward.
Okay. You turn to face forward and see other images in the glowing path. Azazel being dragged to the earth by entangling vines. A castle in the clouds surrounded by dozens of flying creatures. A stronghold made from coral beneath the churning sea. A vast desert devoid of life. Rolling thunder and roiling lightning illuminating a garden of statues as far as your eyes can see. And a dark, winged creature. A dragon, perhaps? You go to take a step forward to get a better look, and the path dissolves beneath your feet. And as you begin a free fall, a hand catches your wrist. You look up and see Arvandil, the first Starkeeper, standing on the bottom of the path, and as you look up to him, your perspective shifts, and you are standing once again on the path's edge, with the first star before you. And he is not the spirit that you met at Stone Stand, but a Goliath of flesh and blood. His eyes illuminate as he whispers, "There is no path without those who follow it." And rising up behind him, from the path's past, are countless other Goliaths, blue bears. And you realize that each of these are your predecessors, star keepers of days of yore, innumerable, infinite, running the whole length of the wandering path of things that have come to pass for you to be where you are today, things that had to come to pass, all of whom bore Uthgar's curse, just as you have. This is not your day to meet Uthgar, Brother Goldbrand. You have no protege to carry on the legacy of the hundreds before you. With no one to read the path, it will be lost, and so will all those in our realm. What brings you to this void?
Fucking Stides. What do you expect?
Steins?
Dides.
Dides.
And another Uthgarth killed me. Am I not to go join Uthgarth now?
To do so now would leave your people, nay, all the people of Faerun, in mortal peril.
I was a fucking afraid of that. Is there a way for me to get specs?
I do not know. I cannot send you back.
Where do
But-
I go from here?
You gather what you can, and hope that your companions are swift and smart. Tell me, what wisdom can I bestow to you?
Man, that was most of Goldman's questions. I wasn't expecting. First thing he was going to ask is if the path was whole. It's just been explained to him it will not be if he dies. Interesting. Can he ask him anything about the things he saw? Did you see those things? The
Onion or
This.
the stars?
Well, yes, the visions you described to me.
Oh, within the path itself.
Yeah.
Yes. He looks down and I have seen all that has passed thus far, and have walked as far forward as you have seen. We piggyback is the only word that comes to mind, off of your visions. You provide sight not only to yourself, but to all of the Star Keepers. He turns to look behind you, the path of the past. And you see faint images of what has come to pass, the fall of the Vanendad, the death of Storvold, the petrification of Kyolithica, the consumption of Chief Ga, the collapse of the Eye of the Allfather. 5 figures. The Promised Day. And yet, there is one vision that you don't recognize on the path's past. 5 shapes that you dully recall as the ones who rushed to your aid against Urza. They stand before a ruined tower, one that looks familiar. And after a moment you realize that you've passed this, as you were walking back from Waterdeep the first time. It is between Waterdeep and Nightstone. I have seen all that you have. And while you are here, you may see that as well. I know that you've met Urza, one of my kinsmen, my tribesmen.
Urza.
You spared him of an eternal torment. Our kind are not meant to be in the Feywilds. To do so is torture, and return is nigh impossible after some time has passed.
So it was evidence. Are those people, are they important?
Talking about the 5?
Yes, the people in divisions.
They are
There
far...
are two of them. Can you see them where they are now? Go looking forwards.
He shakes his head. I cannot see any further than you have. Or that any other Starkeeper has seen. These, if they are a part of the path, then they are important, but I cannot say what part they will play in what will come to unfold. They may be allies. They may be enemies. Obstacles.
Guess I'll fucking find out. Alright, we'll start looking for a way out. Because I feel like that's in character for Cobra. I'm not sure of any more questions that I have.
For the record, you are on a floating river of light in the middle of space.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
You begin to look around, seeking for a way. He goes,
Yeah.
The path cannot crumble, Brother Goldbrand. And thus, you cannot die this day. And he raises his hand, and he places it on your collarbone. And with a sting, you look down to see the wound where Gideon had struck you. The stars all around you swirl, and they seem to channel through Arvindil's arm and into your wound, creating a glittering blood. And with a rush of energy, you snap awake on the floor of the Fallwilds, with Bergen kneeling beside you. Bergen, you've just revived Goldbrand from death, and with the Oni and Rakshasa slain, you watch as the party collectively turns their attention to Azazel. As Goldbrand vomits dark blood and staggers to his feet, you watch as without hesitation he thrusts his arm to the ground and raises it into a fist. And dozens of glowing green vines, roots, and branches ascend skyward and bind Azazel, pulling him to the earth. Thunderous booms, radiant bolts, a flurry of slashes barrage him. And you feel the fight is finally shifting in your favor. But your stomach sinks as you watch Azazel's flying black steel rapier stab into Gideon, just a few feet away from you. The battle rages above, but not even that can deafen the sickening gurgles you hear as Gideon begins to choke on his own blood. You see his face shift from fury and rage to shock and fear as he collapses at your feet. And you've healed in the heat of battle hundreds of times, but there's something about this being the boy that you remember is just that, a boy that you helped raise. You carefully roll him onto his back so that you can assess the wound, the rapier still sticking out of his neck. You know that the foul sword will have to be removed to heal the wound. But as you reach out to the hilt, your hand seems to resist, as if repulsed by the weapon. You can cast your spell on Gideon to stabilize him. Or you do cast your spell on Gideon to stabilize him, but he is still unable to breathe and is locked in this choking state. With the final arrow from your Tabaxi ally, Zazel goes down in flames, cursing you all and promising to burn Faerun to the ground. The victors stand bloody, weary, and exhausted, as Davos and Golbrand turn their attention back to you and Gideon. The two of you see Bergen covered in blood, his own as well as Golbrand's and Gideon's, and then you feel shocked as you see Gideon silently gasping for air with the hilt protruding from his shoulder. Lords of Nightstone and new allies, before you lies a dying man. What do you do?
I
remove curse.
Oh.
On Gideon, the sword?
Yeah, the sword.
When Golbrand sees you start to cast, he would like to say, I think we need to get that out first. And then your magics will...
Bergen tried to grasp it, but could not.
Oh.
You could certainly try yourself if... What was that, Davos?
I was just going to ask if anybody else was able to grab it.
This hasn't been experimented with yet, so Davos is welcome to try if he would like.
Go to pull the sword as Golbrand says that, unless... But yeah, okay. Same effect?
No. It does not repulse you in the same way, and as you grip the hilt, a slight chill runs up your arm as you pull the blade from his neck, and the spurt of blood is quickly halted as Bergen seals the wounds. The sword is light, even lighter than you anticipated, but it feels good within your grip. Comfortable. Powerful. At this moment, Gideon is gasping deeply as he shakily pulls himself into a seated position, still clutching his side where he had been pierced just moments ago, and he hangs his head low. And after a second, you realize that he's crying, as he says, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to free innocent people. That's all I've ever wanted, to help people who couldn't help themselves. I never knew this would be the cost.
You made a deal with the devil, boy. You couldn't tell that man was evil. He has fucking horns coming out of his head and wings out of his back.
He looks at you. He was not the one I made my pact with. I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't see any shape, any form. It came to me, saying that if I were to do whatever it took, that I could free everyone on the cart and avenge my mother. It was the Winter Queen that made that pact. I understand if you think that I can't be trusted, but I swear to you that that was not me.
Well, magic is a strong and powerful thing, so we don't blame you 100%. At least I don't. I can't speak for the group, but...
We've seen some shits, kids. You killed the fucking Uthgards. Stand up and pick your heads up. That's a good days for most people in our tribes.
I imagine you reach out an arm to help him up.
For sure.
He grabs your forearm.
I was going to say I'll pick him up, but I don't know if he... I don't know. It's kind of a character for Golbrand. I feel like I would reach down and try to pull him up, but no.
You reach down your arm, and he clasps your forearm, and you pull him up, and he sort of staggers a bit as he stands and has his head against his crown, and the last several years are a blur. Bits and pieces stand out. I remember being charmed by the Winter Queen when I got to her court, being convinced that all of you just saw me as the exact same way my previous masters did, as property. I remember learning magic, sparring with Azazel, fighting horrendous creatures for the court's amusement. The Queen's face is a painful memory, blurred and distorted, as if incomprehensible. And his eyes sort of go wide as she will be furious. We shouldn't linger here longer than we have to, although I reckon we are safer here in the Fall Wilds. And he looks over to your 3 new accomplices. Goes, and who are they?
Actually, so I was wondering the same things. Spins around.
Yeah.
It gets big.
It gets
Also
big.
looks like shit. Blood all over me. I look like shit.
All of you feel like shit. I mean, y'all are battered and bloodied. Many of you have exhausted most of your spells and abilities and are quite a few hit points down.
Some of us are exhausted. Davos and I both have.
Yeah, if we have
Oh,
10
from the-
minutes, I'm going to fucking cast a spell.
A spell?
How?
Yes, that's prayer of healing while we're all sitting here chit-chatting idly.
Just starts chanting
Oh,
while we're
wait.
like, Hayes,
I want to
where
cast
the
a
fuck
higher
did you
level.
comes from? Oh, higher. I don't know. How did you get here? Apparently it's fucking hards.
You ask Gideon?
No, I asked the strangers.
Okay.
Oh!
Thank
I
you,
would
Burb.
like to... That's funny.
If I
would
have
like...
It's a little spotty, but we'll make it work.
But I think Goldburn would probably preface with, I believe the other ones in your groups are alive. I have no clues where's. How did you get here? It's apparently fucking hard.
Yeah. I would just look at him and say, listen, dude. I honestly don't know. We were fighting a bad guy. He turned into a crazy frog animal. And we just sort of wound up here. And before we realized we were somewhere different, it was too late. And so we wandered around trying to figure out where to go next and what to do. And that's when we stumbled across you.
While you're at it, go ahead and give us a good visual descriptor for G.
Sure, yeah. So he has sort of muted orange hair. It's a little bit longer. An orangish beard. It almost looks like an ombre from like an orange to red in some places. Its skin's almost ashen gray. And if you know anything about fire ganassi, you would know that typically fire ganassi are a bit more flamboyant, a bit more flamey. Their skin's normally orangish on fire, have spurts of fire coming out of it. But mine is not. It's actually sort of a muted gray, maybe with sections of it a little glowing, depending. About average height and average build. I would
Any
say
visible
that-
weapons?
I don't think so, actually. I have a crossbow, but other than that, no. I am wearing that, and I think it's sort of ornate because we discussed this a little bit. But I am wearing that elven breastplate.
Yeah.
That is sort of covered in like almost a fall foliage view. It's like got oranges and tones of orange on it. I would say that the ornamenture around it looks almost like it's orange leaves to an extent, or it could also look like sort of lapping flames depending on how you look at it.
And you guys gather, being here within the Fall Wilds where you are, he does sort of blend into the landscape. This seems the perfect item for where you are. Excellent. Burb, do you want to give us a little visual of Pandora?
Yeah. So she is Tabaxi, so she is a literal cat girl.
Very heard.
She's about like an average person's stature, between 5'7", 5'9", just average, but always dwarfs in comparison because she's always with Ark, who is, big hulking dragon. She's a snow leopard, so she's got, she's very spotted. All of her fur and hair is white. She has golden, cat eyes. Very piratey, but she's also kind of a little baby. She dresses light because she's a pirate, so she's just got your standard, light leather garbs. Oh, there's Ben. She wears like a green shirt and some, leather pants. Typical pirate attire. Instead of having a pirate's hat, though, she's got this big ornate, like baby blue bow that she has. It was her and her sister. She's got a twin sister, but that's why it's like they're baby bows. So it's kind of how they're attached. It's their way of was always their way of feeling like connected to each other. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else. She's got a very long, goofy tail.
With some bling added to it. You see her picking up the tail rings of the Rakshasa and equipping them, for lack of a better word.
Oh, yeah, definitely. She does have
a body
for various shiny things, and like any good pirate, she's going to have a various amount of like rings, jewelry, etc. She always keeps her sword on her side and, her bow at the ready, because, pirate vibe there.
And what weapons do you have on you?
She's got that new amethyst short bow that is her favorite. But before it was just a basic bow. She's obviously a very trained archer. Instead of where pirates normally have like pistols and what have you, she relies on her cat-like reflexes with a bow and arrow, and then she keeps her. She's got a rapier to her side. Her big stab it with a pointy end sword.
Excellent. Is Ben with us? Yeah, I think I heard you.
Yeah, Ben just
Yeah.
got in the car, so.
Perfect, dude. Welcome. Sorry, we're sort of ambushing you before you get home, but we're sort of running through just a rundown of what you guys look like and what your vibe's about. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Ark?
Well, Ark is a very imposing 6'9", close to 300-pound red dragonborn pirate. He likes to wear as little armor as possible, given his draconic scalings. I'm equipped with 2 long swords that I carry across my back on one side.
Nope. I see you lighting up, but I don't hear anything. Do you guys hear?
He's cutting it out a little bit.
From The Witcher. I also have a longbow, which I equipped from last time because I should have started with that one earlier. But Archinox is a soft and the mountain. Well, it's not really a mountain, but whatever, the mountain, what a hills, whatever.
We lost a little bit of that just due to, I think you guys are on the move now, so your signal might be a little spotty. But got the gist of it. You've also got your new horn bling because you
No, I do. I forgot about
claimed the Rakshas's ornaments. With that, if our 3 returning lords will just give a brief rundown of what you visually look like for our new party members. Goldbrand, why don't you start us off?
So Goldbrand, it looks like Goldbrand's about the same size as Ark. I have 7'7", 325 on the character sheet, so that was remarkably close. And he's a Goliath, so his skin almost looks like granite. He's got tattoos all over him, all over his face and his upper body. He has a bear skin wrapped around him, and this is a pretty big ass bear. It also covers some armor, which seems to be made from chitin. You can see on Goldbrand's fist he has like pincers extending from his knuckles, which seems to have been fashioned from a very large animal, bug,
Insectoid, yeah.
Yeah, but he other than that, he has a big stone scythe he carries on his back. He is entirely hairless from what you can tell. In a place like this, kind of cold, the bear hood may be up or it may be over his shoulders. But no, when you first saw him, he had a big ass scythe, which he has left lying wherever he revived from.
And he did also have an axe upon his back as well.
I think I mentioned the stone axe.
You called it a stone scythe earlier, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, big stone axe and creepy scythe that is again lying off to the side.
He also has a slate of obsidian that hangs from his neck. I've described it as tablet sized before. So especially on him, like it doesn't look quite as big as it would on us, but it's still a fairly large tablet.
The Scryphone, yes, the Scrypad. Excuse me. With that, Bergen, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Bergen's vibe's about?
Ginger Holy Boy from the Frozen boonies.
Jeez.
Arctic Himbo, heard.
Yeah, that's about it, really.
Normally,
Studied in things holy and religious, and follows Helm to the ends of the earth. He's here for Helm.
You
He's
guys
doing
do
Helm's
see a lot of religious iconography. His gauntlet itself has the eye, which many of you would probably recognize as a symbol of Helm with an obsidian set in it. And
Helm's him.
yeah, as well as your shield, I think, has it too. And his breastplate looks very fine, and it has sort of a golden line of like runes that sort of drape over his shoulders, almost like a mantle. Weapons. You've got your mace, which you guys saw shooting off some radiant bullshit. Yeah, shooty mace. Excellent. Davos, why don't you give us a rundown of our sexy paladin?
I don't know about sexy, but
He's very funny.
yes.
He's the most sex out of all of us, not including Goldberg.
Not including Goldbrand. Accurate. To be fair, Goldbrand's like
Normally,
50. He's had some years to fuck.
Sorry, kissing the baby goodnight. Normally, GHB meant something besides Ginger Holy Boy, but I think the new abbreviation's better.
Jesus
But
Christ.
now, you see a half elf. You know, his hair, as you can tell from the avatar, is very coiffed into like a pompadour style Elvis kind of aura. Paladin armor, heavy armor. But despite being all of that, it's more of like a friendly demeanor behind his eyes. Like, definitely kind of wary of strangers and stuff like that. But I've seen a lot stranger, especially being in the Feywild. So you guys actually don't strike me too out of place. Much like the loot on the across my back is. You can see if you look at the avatar, I'm a follower of Lathander with the sun on my pauldron. And then a very fancy, I guess it is a rapier, the Blade Knight Erembor.
Technically, it is a longsword, but you use it almost more as a rapier than you do a longsword. It's your style has sort of carried over from your training with rapiers, but I think your father used a longsword. I think that's right, but still.
So yeah, pretty epic looking longsword and shield. And
speaking of shield, it has a giant rune on it, a Jotun rune. And I forgot all about that till I was digging through your inventory earlier. But excellent. You guys have sort of gotten acquainted. Ark, ever aware, you do a sweep of the area, and where the Oni had been slain just a few moments before, you see a large spiked mace. It's the Oni's beat stick, lying in the dirt. Its spikes still wet with Davos's blood. A fine weapon. Despite being on the forest floor, no dirt clings to the polished metal. And if you choose to lift it, you find it remarkably well balanced. And even though it was made for a creature larger than yourself, you find it rather easy to hold on to and swing with a single hand. I'm gonna drop to a couple of things, actually. Davos, you've got that rapier in your hand. Do you, want to use it? Do you want to attune to it, I guess I should say?
the one I just pulled out of the Gideon's neck? No, I drop it.
You find you can't. You seem reluctant to let it go.
Guys, we got a problem.
Oh shit! Stop that!
Stop it.
Is there a light on hands I can learn?
Hold on. I cast upon the, what is it? Break curse? The spell curse?
Yeah, the break curse, I think. So you used it once earlier to try to break the curse on the weapon while it was in Gideon. After that, do you still have a spell slot available?
Yeah, wait, you said, oh, right, didn't mark on Gideon, so surmise that probably wouldn't work on Davos as well.
Would I be able to take off like my gauntlet or anything to let that just stay attached to the?
You try to pull your fingers out, but like you won't release it from your grip. It seems to, and it almost calls to you. It's whispers of power, of stopping your enemies, whoever they may be. Even if it comes to face its old master, it will stay true to you. It's
Guys, this thing is talking to me. We gotta hurry.
Fucks. I don't know if I have it prepared. I may not have the spell slot.
I like put my foot on the blade and try to like pry it off. Like
at some point you
I don't
like.
know how to ask this without being meta.
Well, Goldbrand has a
Sorry.
cursed item, so he might know a little something about what's going on.
Well, but Goldbrand, because I don't have it prepared. I wanted to cast a spell I don't have prepared.
Also, Bergen, did you cast it a second time or no?
Remove curse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see that I have one spell slot available. I can. I thought I did. If I didn't, I will again.
You tried it the first time on Gideon. Here's the tricky
Right.
thing. Remove curse is a touch spell, but it works on
Oh,
a
so it
creature
is.
or an object. You tried to touch the object, it would not let you. You can try to touch the creature.
Right. That's right. That's right. I could. It's not that I couldn't grasp it. It's just I couldn't even touch it. Okay. I will. Yeah. Fuck it. Touch the creature. Yeah. Fuck it.
Okay.
Fuck it.
You get some of them good
Smash
touches
that
from
one.
Bergen. You feel the sort of
come on, Ginger, holy boy.
I like to think he smacks him on the hand, like drop that. Like,
I love it.
No.
Fantastic. As he pops your hand, you feel that whisper fade sharply, like a hiss almost, as your hand opens up and it drops the rapier.
Man, I would have never thought to fucking do that. Like touch the person instead of the object. Like.
Yeah, you either touch the object or what it's attuned to break the curse, but it is a touch-based spell. And Bergen, if you try to reach toward it again, you find that it's still repellent. Something about it just... You don't want anything to do with it.
Me neither.
And
I only touched it to pull it out of Gideon's neck.
Holy boy's out.
yeah.
well, we can't leave it here for any of the fucking fairies to pick up.
Fair point.
Can we
would agree
offer
with
it to
that.
the Autumn Queen as like?
Not a bad idea.
I'm good with wrapping it up in like a bedroll or something and just taking it with us. I'm just not touching the hilt on that thing. Thing's eviler than my ex.
I'd imagine somebody'd pay a pretty penny for it, if nothing else.
I don't know if we should put this in civilians' hands.
You
I
could
bet
learn more
the
about
blue
it as
one
well.
knows. I bet the blue one knows what to do with it.
True.
He turns to look at the group. Oh well, I don't know if he would even have premise to explain it. We know someone's that can help us with that. I'm assuming none of you came in with a ways out, because we sure as hell didn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gideon.
I'm a cat without navigation.
Gideon shakes his head like, no, Azazel brought me here, but I have no idea how to get back out.
Well, at least we I guess Brandon wasn't here. We have incorporated in our deals that anybody we collect along the way goes homes with us. So anybody that wants to get the fucks out of Sears needs to follow us.
About that time, you hear
Yeah, sound.
you hear hoofbeats once more as Kaliana and her centaurs and satyrs make themselves known. She tells you that we were given specific instruction not to attack Azazel, lest the Winter Queen scorn find us, but we have come to escort you back if you are done with your dealings. That is, some of you look as if you're in rather rough shape. If you need the time to rest, then we will watch over you. It is getting late in the Feywilds. And as you look up,
Assuming.
the skies are growing darker. Time moves very oddly in the Fey realm. The three of you who are joining us, you guys traveled for days in the winter wilds, and it was this perpetual twilight. For the most part here in the fall wild, it has been this golden afternoon light, and you guys have spent hours and hours between walking from where you arrived to the Fey Court, to walking to where you encountered Urza, to your battles between him and your battles with Azazel. It feels like it's been a long time, and the sky is just now starting to get that sort of orangish glow of sunset, as if night will be upon you soon.
I raise my hand and say, I could definitely use a little rest. As I slouch up against the nearest rock and just sort of slink down it to my butt.
Always down for a little cat nap.
I would imagine all of us need a rest after the fight.
Yeah, I'm almost afraid to spend too much time here because it moves so fast.
Yeah,
Well,
Gobran-
look what it did to Gideon.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
Gobran would start to set up camp and ask the centaurs while he's working, do you know how long say nights here will be in the other place?
Kaliana shakes her head. I have never been to Feyruns. It was sealed off long before my time. I could not tell you how much time differs. And even that, time differs in different parts of the Feyrealm. There are parts that are probably seconds in your world, where hours have gone by here, and vice versa. And there are those who control their own time. Azazel was one such creature. Although,
That's great.
now that you've slain him, I do not know if he can ever return. But his realm in particular, I think, moved very slowly. He sought to make the most of his time here, as opposed to his time in the Hells. From what I understand. If you wish to take a rest, we will watch over you. I guess I'm asking long rest, short rest?
I'd kind of like a long rest. I know Ark's gonna need it.
Oh, hell no, Will.
How long would it take for us to get back to the real world?
It will be a few hours to make our way through. But traveling.
Personally, I say let's fucking take the few hours, make our way through, and try to get back to normal time before taking a long rest. But that's just me.
Man, if we get jumped though, we are cooked.
I can at least heal us all, but if you're exhausted as far as like your skills and whatnot, I can't do much about that. But...
And actually, both you I think we said Goldbrand slept his off while he was dead, but Bergen, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
No,
I forget what one level of exhaustion is.
I have one either way though, because even if it happened while I died,
You
when get
revived.
revived,
Too.
you have. So I have one either way. So yeah, Goldbrand could use at least a short rest. I can push on if we get a short rest. I could push on after that and not be useless.
Fair.
That's kind of up to you.
Is there anything pressing time-wise we're worried about back in our realm?
Everything.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
nothing that has like a date on it, but there are things that you know that are moving.
Maybe it'd be a good thing for our construction as far as our queue.
That's so funny. All right, so I need a final short rest or long rest, Devin.
Short rest.
Short. Z.
Z's asleep already, but I'm gonna say short.
He can sleep for an hour. It's all right.
Brandon.
Short rest.
Okay. Burb and Ark.
Yeah, I guess a short rest.
Okay, I
Fair.
think
Yeah.
that gets us over half. So
Spend them hit dice.
I have a boon to the hit dice. I'm trying to find where it's at.
oh yeah, your bardic thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
bless you.
While he's looking at that, Ark, I have added the Oni's beat stick to your character sheet, so you should see that, and I think should be attuned to it. It's got some fun shit, so you can take a look at that when you get a second.
I did cast a level 5 Prayer of Healing earlier for 33 to everybody if nobody's taken that yet.
Nice. I did not. Thank you.
All the
Oh,
what?
wow.
I don't.
You were asleep at that
Was
point.
Yeah.
You gain an extra 1d6 hit points.
Oh,
Perform at a short
Excellent.
rest.
Bless you.
Prayer of Healing, what's the number of targets of that? Is it 6?
Double check here.
And I think Goldbrand, you were running me. Do you remember how many hit points I have?
It's on your token and roll 20. I
can go to
have
that
a list. You've used quite a few spells. I have it on a sticky note. Man,
6 creatures.
Don't worry about it. The spells, at least. As you guys take your rest, you guys can roll a hit die. There should be a short rest button on D&D Beyond, and you can choose how many die to roll and stuff like that. And it'll reset any abilities that reset on a short rest. As this rest happens, Goldbrand, you find Gideon watching the stars. The first few speckles of light that are popping out of the darkness. He seems pensive and quiet, withdrawn, much different from the talkative, hyperactive boy that you had known. He picks up a stone and chants it and tosses it into the wood, where after a few moments you hear it pop with a burst of magical energy.
what were you aiming at? Go ahead.
Trying to attack the thoughts that linger. Dispel them as I wish I could. Dispel them as easily as I could my foes.
Take some practice.
Lots of it. You, thank you for coming for me, by the way. I'm sorry that it had to be this way.
That was a harrowing experience, but the good news is you are now fully blooded. And that's always something to celebrate. I think it's time to get the fucks out of here.
I think you're right. Ugh, God, now I'm talking like you. I've got to stop that. All right.
Right?
And as Gideon inevitably picks up his dad's accent, you guys take your rest and are escorted by Caliana back to the Autumn Queen's court. You are graciously welcomed back in as Caliana reports what she saw, that you did indeed slay Urza, and then afterward slay Azazel and a couple of demonic forces, as well as seem
I
to.
told you so's, but
You also seem to have broken the enchantment on one of the Winter Queen's pawns, all of which is met with the chatters and whispers of the excited court as they are intrigued by this curious arrival of several strangers simultaneously. As you are talking, and Caliana is recounting the events, she tells of the icy dome that covered Gideon. And the Autumn Queen looks to you, Bergen, and she sees that your gauntlet still has frost on it. And she tells you, it is dangerous to have brought the Ring of Winter back to the Feywild. Why have you done this? You have placed a target upon your head.
have you ever seen someone try to take that motherfucker's offs?
It is persistence, I understand, but it's bringing it here, of all places. She will want it back.
Oh. She can suck it.
What the holy man?
SUGGIT.
She will bite your finger off to get that if that's what must be done.
No offense, I don't think it was talking about his finger.
God.
I think it is time for us to leave. And all of
probably.
these with us.
Yep.
And if I have my ways about this, I will be back.
Same.
She says, before you go, I must ask you. I know you came during High Harvest. That was not possible months ago. Where did you travel through to our realm?
Do you want the physical location?
Wants a location. A
I don't
Feywild
know if we
location.
should divulge that information. divulge.
Either.
I think we've
We
shared
don't know
enough
anything about
information with
Like,
you. We've given you names.
Where we
of-
landed in Faerun is the question.
Where you
Where-
came crossed the border into the Feywild, which meta-wise you guys know is the Misty Forest. But so for some of you, it was actually in a temple, or excuse me, in the tower, which was near Waterdeep.
Yes.
But
Yeah, I
y'all
was
can-
about to say that was Gohan's gonna be like, I can't speak for these peoples. You know, don't know how they got here, but we don't know anything about it. As we've divulged, someone handled
Oh,
it.
you don't know anything about it. You can't say that.
Okay, you're right.
We were
Uh,
led there. We don't know where specifically. I couldn't find it again.
I tell you what, roll a deception check. Not so much to lie as to talk around the truth. Have her roll an insight check. Oh, that is not.
Oh, come
So
on.
she rolled shitty, but her insight's fucking ridiculous. Hang on.
Advantage? Because that was pretty clutch. No, I'm just kidding.
Her eyes narrow. You have been where you crossed over before. You know the place. This I can see is true. You may not know its precise location, but you can give us some geographic marker.
We're concerned to tell you for the fear of the beings in our own realm. I hope you understand.
I just need to know where the curtain has been thinned.
Why do you need to
forest.
know that?
With the forest. Technically correct.
That's the best kind of correct.
Frog Tower. Frog Tower got a thin curtain.
Frog Tower got a thin curtain. Indeed. That's a brand new sentence right there. I guarantee that's never been said before in the history of the world. Interesting. She smiles. I understand that you are hesitant of my people. But me and my court seek you no harm. If anything, we want to stop more of your kind from wandering through. And if you so choose, I can send you with something to help seal those gaps. But everything has its price, especially here. You must tell me where you crossed, and if you know of any other Fey portals that have been
Boy.
crossed.
What do you think, fellas?
I
So,
don't know. I ain't trusting nobody, and no thing.
but what if? I guess she didn't hear us talking.
Didn't hear you talking
She
about.
definitely don't
She
know
can
that we
hear us
know
talking.
what we know about fate portals and how many we've come across. And
I think we have the same goal, though.
It sounds,
That
yeah.
sounds
It
like
sounds
it,
to me
yeah.
like we have to tell her if we want to go back there. Otherwise, where are we going to land?
She's telling you. That's an interesting interpretation. I like that interpretation better than what I had planned, but that's. She's saying that she'll send you across either way. She will return you, but if you want her to provide you with a means of sealing another portal, you have to give her something in return. Just this bit of information.
So,
yeah.
if we
Okay.
tell her where,
Like a kiss?
we can
We can
close
seal
it on her.
another portal.
Do you say that aloud?
We're gonna say all this fucking word.
Yeah, I do.
Fucking Bard trying to fuck the Fey Queen. You say that, and there are chuckles in court, and a few that actually withdraw a bit and tense up, and they seem unsure of how the Autumn Queen will react. And with that, Brandon, wheel or woe?
Oh no.
If you get it right, it'll go well. If you get it wrong, wheel.
Wheel is close to well, and it's gonna go well.
I thought it was a 9, but it is a 6. So you get fortunate. There's a tense moment where the court is unsure of how she will react before she cracks a smile. And says, "Charming, but no thank you. The information is all I seek." And in return, she swirls her hand above her, and from the hickory tree, something drops slowly. an acorn? A seed? Incredibly small. And she says, this will not only protect the area in which you plant it, but as it grows, it'll protect a much larger area, until one day it's as large as our great tree here. If you so seek to protect your realm from further intrusions, I suggest you provide us with the information that you need. What do we say, boys and girls?
Oh,
Yeah.
can I make
I
an
already told her Frog Tower, man. I don't freaking know. I just go pillaging and
Frog
plundering.
Tower's pretty vague, but what was
So-
that, Devin?
Can I make an insight check? Mostly on whether or not that thing will actually, if we tell her where, she sends us back. Will that tree actually plug the portal?
Well, she shouldn't be able to lie to us, right? She
You
can't
do
lie,
know
right?
that,
True.
yes. But so for insight and deception, at least here, most of it is trying to see if they're talking around something or something like that. So I will say you certainly can. I see you're 26, as I do with all deception checks. I'm gonna roll, regardless of whether it's true or not. You gather that she's being honest, that this will prevent Fey portals in that location. And she seems to be telling the truth about it growing and protecting a larger radius. You don't know how long that'll take. I mean, Uthgard know that trees grow fairly slowly. It may be years before it covers some sizable ground, but it'll at least block the location where you planted. And she adds, and that location does not need to be where this portal is. You can choose to plant it somewhere you wish to prevent future portals from opening up. Though I imagine your people have done some of this already. Your people, specifically, Goliath.
Plant that shit in the courtyard of Nightstone.
Well, I think we have to plant it where we get back.
So she's saying you can plant it elsewhere, or you can plant it where you return.
Because it covers more. I see. Well, it's up to y'all, especially if we want to get back there. It may be inevitable.
And what is the price?
That's what
Information.
we're paying that information.
Yeah,
to her,
you give her the
We're
location, she gives you the seed. I said acorn. It's technically a hickory tree, and I realized after I said it that hickories don't have acorns, but the equivalent of.
Yeah, no, true, buddy.
So who wants
Seems
to
like
tell?
a fair deal.
Where are we leaning? Tell her or don't tell her?
I'm down for telling.
I don't know where you guys came in at, so.
Yeah,
I don't,
Yeah,
I don't, I don't
You
get
could
it,
choose
We're
to share the location that you
already
came
done
from.
before.
I guess. How good are my navigation skills? Would I even know how to get back to it from here?
I mean, not
Did he get his own
precisely.
seed?
You no. She's asking for all the portals that you're aware of.
For one
So you would have to tell her both of the ones you came through, plus the previous one you've seen Azazel come through. So 3 portals total.
Did we destroy that one? Or that was the one with the dragon?
Yeah.
Well, you did send the Uthgard to restore the stand that was near there. So you believe that one has been sealed. Believe. She would still like the information. She wants to know about everything that you know as far as the portals. And Z, to your question earlier, you know roughly where the tower was. You know it was south of Waterdeep. Greenfast is a small settlement about a day's travel away, and that was between Greenfast, along the Tradeway, which is the main road. Hence why Goldbrand recognized it in his vision earlier. Alright, sounds like you guys are leaning toward tell her. Final objections?
I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're doing it.
Will you take us back to this place if we tell you?
I can take you fairly close. It is difficult for me. It has been centuries since I have been able to pass things through the realms. But I will do my best. If you can share me with the information, I may even be able to triangulate the location. You guys tell her the tower south of Waterdeep. You tell her of the Misty Forest. You tell her of the portal in the center of the continent, just west of the High Forest, where Azazel originally came through. She gathers, And if you have something physical from your realm, it will help me guide you. Something, they call it anchors. Do you have something that you can give me?
Like permanently?
Well, so this can
It
be
will-
like any animate object, though, right? Like,
Yes.
like a
Can I just give her like one of my like 10 different rings?
yeah,
The
or
one
an
I like
arrow.
the least.
An arrow? Devin
Go
thinking
Rebels
how to
now.
mitigate losses as much as possible. Yeah. You don't personally have an arrow, Goldbrand.
No, that was just my first thought.
I
Gilbert
should
was
have
saying,
a
I'm not sure we should be
crossbow.
Bergen,
giving
you do have crossbow bolts. You hand one to her. Then she holds on to it. All right. With that, we thank you for slaying Urza. And you may take this. Devin, please add one fake horn. Get it? Fey acorn. It's fake acorn. Ha 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 ha. Also just came up with. Add that to our inventory, please. As all of you feel the same head spinning sensation that you feel like you're about to pass out, and you feel your feet fall out beneath you. And I need everyone to make a wisdom save.
Jesus Christ, man. Out of the pot into the fire, whatever.
Including young Gideon, old Gideon, moderately young Gideon.
Said wisdom save?
Wisdom save, yes.
Oh, gross. That's like my word.
Brad,
Oh,
Bergen,
y'all are
look at each
rolling
other.
very well.
Too bad.
God.
And get so wise.
He's not
Wise
wise. He's a
motherfuckers.
druid.
And he's 50.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, if anyone was gonna roll low, I wanted it to be Gideon.
You would.
1, 2, 3,
You
4, 5,
bastard.
6, 7. Fantastic. Oh, Z,
Yeah, I didn't roll very well there.
you might be the one failure. Let me double check the save.
Oh no.
I think it was 10 or higher, but it may be above a 10.
I was
Roll
putting
a
out there-
new character.
You are torn to
You don't
shreds in the
remember
ethereal plane.
Shit.
I guess I can't give him guidance.
Ethereal blender.
Is it too late? We've seen the
Wait, technically I did.
If
I don't know
we
this-
held hands, can we have an
It's
advantage?
been a while. Technically, I did still
Been a
have a bardic
while.
inspiration from
It
last
I
It-
time.
thought the
I
same
cast
thing.
guidance.
It is it's too late to cast anything in addition. Thankfully for you, it is a DC 10 wisdom save. So you just barely made it. I will tell you, since none of you failed, had you failed, you would not remember anything that happened in the Feywild. I wanted Gideon to forget all that because A, that's a lot of fucking trauma. And B, it would be like, man, wow, time flies. I feel like I was a kid just like a few weeks ago, man. Jeez.
No, he needs to remember.
Yeah, exactly. Your head spin for what feels like several minutes before your feet find solid ground. The air is cool and familiar, and while not as sweet as the air of the Feywild, you find it immensely refreshing. For our three newcomers, you find yourself in the center of a town square. A bustling market brought to a standstill by your sudden appearance. You see a variety of buildings around you. A fine 3-story inn, a temple, a church, a stable, several farms, shops, blacksmiths, apothecaries, and in the distance, a mighty keep with several large creatures flying about it. Pandora and Ark, you two are currently in the bottom of a pit in the center of this town. You guys plopped...
Is it that one right there?
One more time?
What a fucking power moves.
Is that one right
You're
there?
just talking about the.
Yeah. So I'll tell you this: giving her the crossbow bolt was clutch because canonically, I'm thinking that was made in Nightstone for Bergen. Like upon returning back and replenishing supplies, that this was more likely than not made at your blacksmith. So that was a very fine anchor point. Otherwise, she was going to drop y'all off in the misty forest.
What a bitch.
For our three lords, you find yourself once again in Nightstone. But see that a lot has changed since you were here last. The Rogue's Tavern seems to be completed. A new pasture for the horses of the Helm's Hooves, several new houses. Hefty modifications seem to be underway to the blacksmith, and a new aviary stands atop the roof of the keep. The trees about the keep, a few of which you know to be Trent's, are also in a rich palette of fall, oranges, reds, and golds, much more color than when you left. And after the initial shock of your arrival passes, for the newer members of the town, you see several familiar faces greeting you warmly. Each of you newcomers, though unknown to anyone, are treated courteously, which is nice considering that your unusual appearances typically lean strangers towards distrust. Gideon is quiet and hesitant, and since all three of you passed your save, Pandora, Ark, and Z, you guys remember that you made a promise in the Feywild.
Oh shit.
Do you remember said promise is the $1 million question.
You all remember that.
Oh,
I was gonna say,
I
she
also
doesn't
do
remember
not.
anything.
She said about the Wonder Queen.
No, I'll let you roll a history check, I guess, is recollection. History's kind of... roll a history check and we'll see what we get.
Oh my god, yeah,
Oh.
Pandora having distracted herself amongst new shiny things is like, wait, what promise? I don't know.
Wonderful.
Yep. I'm like, oh, must not have been important.
I will say, Pandora, roll one more time because you have advantage for a reason.
Oh
love-
boy.
I love that the players don't remember either, because that makes us even better.
I remember.
My notes.
Wow.
Devin remembers?
Shiny.
Yeah, I think
Oh, I
so.
remember.
Devin wasn't there.
I
Her girlfriend wasn't there.
Yeah. Oh.
There's something that's sort of lingering in the back of your mind, like, did I have something I was supposed to do? Nah, if it was important, I would have remembered it. Ooh, shinies. And away you go. After a few moments, a lovely pink-skinned tiefling in a fine teal and gold dress greets you warmly. Ah, my lords, you have finally returned. We had worried that you would be trapped in the Feywild until the winter solstice. I'm sure you have incredible stories to tell of your adventures and your new friends, but first I must know, did you find Gideon? And you see Gideon crack the faintest of smiles on his worn face. A face that, while still the face of a young man, looks incredibly tired. Daphne is shocked at his appearance, at his growth, and at the injuries all of you have.
Yeah, we're all decked out in gore.
I was about to say, Bergen's still covered in blood. She puts his face in her hands and says, "Oh, sweet Gideon, what's happened to you? Lothar, Akira, Kava!" And you see as several of the clerics from the Temple of Lathander come to begin patching your wounds. You guys can restore to full hit points, but we'll get a long rest in just a second. Once she calms down and you guys sort of explain the situation, she says that much has happened in the time you have been gone. It has been, and I'm gonna say she pulls out an abacus while I look at my calendar. It has been 18 days since you left. Quite some time. I realize that you may need to catch your breath, and please, when you are ready, I will be ready to talk business in the keep. And she begins to make her way up to the keep. You guys...
Sorry. If she's walking away, Gobran will say to the newcomers, so we kind of live here. I don't entirely understand this. I was pretty drunk, but they did the things, and now everyone does things that we says.
What Goldbrand is trying to say is, this is our town. We are the lords of Nightstone.
Welcome home.
You are welcome to come with us, or go about as you please, I guess.
Well, I mean, if there's more milk and a lot of treasure, I'm willing to stick around for a little bit.
No thieving from the citizens, you two.
Oh, you think so highly of me there, friendo? And I'm
I mean,
kind of shuffling
They
like.
did see you kill a demon and immediately start raiding its corpse. So there's some skepticism there.
Just kind of like where I had stolen
I know
like
a pirate
the
when I see a
ring off of
pirate.
her, just kind of pocketing it. Just no, best behavior.
About this time, people from all over are just descending upon you, happy to see that you're back, eager to give you drink and food and refreshment. And if you guys would like, you're welcome to recoup and enjoy, probably, for the three of you who were teleported in the Frog Temple, your first meal in quite some time. You don't know exactly how many days you spent in the Feywild, but it feels like a long time. And Z, you remember just vaguely that they had talked of a date they had said it was just before that it was high harvest, and you would know it when you left to be just before green grass, which you gather was 5 months ago, give or take. It has been a very big jump in time for you. Only a couple of weeks for our returning lords.
Man, we're hungry.
I imagine Orin and the rest of the bards pull you into the tavern and feed you and give you drink heartily. If you choose, you can share some of your exploits. You don't have to. You don't have to narrate, but you can say, "Yeah, we tell them more or less what happened," or we leave out blah blah blah.
Oh no! See, Pandora having food in her stomach, and probably after her nice warm milk, probably put down a few meads. Is like very loudly proclaiming to everyone all the cool shit they just did and all the things they killed. They're like, "Oh yeah, my mate here, he was wrestling frogs and everything."
Gideon killed his dad.
Well, upon you mentioning Gideon, that is Gideon. Most people are shocked and they're making lots of jokes like, "Oh, they do grow up fast these days, don't they?" And like, "Oh, fucking growing like a weed, I see," and blah 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 blah. Gideon seems to be almost uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, where was that kid he got lost with in the woods at first?
Randrak, yeah, he's probably with the Ardeep Rangers at the moment, but he says, "No, I'll be sure to catch up." Guess a lot has happened for me, but maybe not so much for you guys. So I guess I'll be doing most of the talking. I am kind of tired though. I think I'm gonna turn in for the night. You reckon it's still cool if I sleep in the stables?
Was he really sleeping in the stables that whole time?
Yeah, you had a room. He had a room in the servants' quarters within Nightstone Keep, but he had found that he preferred to sleep in the stables with the horses, and which actually led to Goldbrand getting him more or less a job there, helping with the horses.
Sleep where you prefer, my good man. If you want to sleep in a real bed tonight in the inn, I'll pay for it.
He smiles like, "No, I won't do any camping anytime soon, but the stable sounds nice." He wanders off.
And tomorrow you're gonna fill us in on like what on your whole fucking brainwashing orientation or whatever that was.
If
we
you
need beats on Azazel and his bullshit.
If you ask him, he goes, "Really, it's a blur. I was enchanted almost immediately, and while I remember bits and pieces, it's fragmented. It's like looking at something through a kaleidoscope. What I see is incomprehensible. You can't make sense of it. But I'll do my best. I'll think on it. And the stuff I do remember, I wish I could forget." And at that, he perks up a bit. "Hey, I'm probably old enough to drink. Hey, can I get a drink over here?" And you see, I imagine Orin or somebody runs him over a beer, and he wanders off to the stable. About that time, Z, you hear a voice within your mind. "Z, this is Tabitha, trying once again to get in contact with all of you. If any of you are still alive, you can respond to this message."
Yeah, I'm immediately like, "Oh my god, I thought that you were dunked on. What's going on?"
Who are you talking to?
Maybe I would say that out loud. I don't know.
I think you have to say it out loud for the spell to respond to.
Okay, that's fine.
So you say that, people are like, "What the fucks are you talking to?"
But yeah, I'll respond. Yeah, we're totally still alive. Where are you?
You hear back after a few seconds. "Thank the Raven Queen. I was worried that bear killed all of you, or you got stuck on the other side. I'm in Waterdeep. Where were you?"
Deep water?
We're not at Waterdeep.
Deep shit. No, you guys are in Nightstone, as Davos.
I'm gonna take a big swig of my beer before I answer and just say, "I don't know. I'm with some guys who run this town in a tavern, eating my first meal in like 17 months."
Accurate. Um, she'll pop back. I've only got one more of these. I need something a little more specific. What town? What guys?
How many drinks have I had?
We'll say at
How
least
long have you
two.
been in the tavern? At
It's
least two?
been yeah. You've had enough time to like eat a plate of food and get settled, and you're still tired as fuck, all of you. But
Tell us
I'm gonna be
what the fuck.
gonna
Okay.
be like sipping another mead, and I'm gonna tap on him and like point to the sign inside the tavern.
that says Nightstone Inn.
That's why I was asking, because if I'm like a little bit buzzed and I've never been here before, I'm gonna be like, I don't know where the hell I am.
Just gonna put my paws on your head and turn your head so you
And
see
so
it.
I turn and kind of look at her, and I'm like, hey, you're never gonna guess who I'm talking to. I'll tell you in a minute. And then I respond back and say, it seems the place we're in is called Nightstone.
She you hear a laugh. Well, what a coincidence. My ride's been there before. I'll be over as soon as I can. You guys continue your meal, and heartily enjoy yourselves. Pandora regaling people with tales. Imagine a few of the rest of you chiming in and adding in some details of your heroic moments battling the demons from across the realms.
Davos and the newcomer killed an Oni. It was kind of badass.
Indeed.
I saw the devil.
So some of them are like, "What's an Oni? What's that?" And you guys go into descriptors of these terrifying creatures, and you're just they are mesmerized by this entire conversation. And a few moments pass before you see a bright blue light radiate from outside the inn, and the door opens to reveal Safine. The three newcomers, you see a beautiful blue-skinned tiefling. Covered in golden jewelry and fine cobalt robes, and on her left and right side are Tabitha and Orin. Lords, you of course recognize this woman as Safine, and now that you get a better look at Tabitha, you realize you've seen her before. You recall a time where you called on Safine, where she was not alone. She was quite literally in the middle of a couple of lovers, a male and a female, and the female lover was Tabitha. So,
It's my tabby girl.
so Tabitha got laid before Davos, canonically. I'm just putting that down here. Tabitha is thrilled to see you. Pandora, she immediately hugs you and goes, "Oh, thank goodness. After 3 or 4 days, I had grown anxious that you'd never make it back. This is Safine. She's a dear friend. She's quite important in Waterdeep. We run in similar circles. I'd love to help whatever in whatever ways I can with what you're doing, but Z, I do need to speak to you privately, if you don't mind."
Yeah, I say absolutely. I'm gonna take my beer with me, and then I'm gonna turn around and be like, "She got here really fast." That's who I was talking to, by the way.
Oh well.
I had heard that about her, that she came quickly.
Oh, damn.
That's damn it.
Safine is talented.
Ain't no kitty cat yet.
That makes sense now that we see the blues ones. She's out of anyone in this whole city, she's the one you don't want to fucks with the most. Just don't forget.
Indeed. Wisest thing Goldbrand's ever said.
With that note, I kind of stand up a little bit more straight, and I'm like, "Alrighty then."
Give me 1 second. I need to copy this link. Okay. Tabitha leads you, Z, outside the inn, looks around a bit, and behind the inn there's a graveyard. She goes, perfect. Why don't we walk up here? I've wanted to talk to you about this for some time, but I don't know, I didn't want to pry when we had just met, and while we were in the Feywild, it seemed like the wrong time. There was too much happening. You know that I speak to spirits, sometimes to help them move on, to learn from them, to learn how to give them justice, just as we did Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor?
Sarah Yellowcrest is
Sarah of Yellowcrest. And she says, do you remember that bit of spirit I gave you when we were fighting in the tower?
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar. I remember.
She goes,
Nah, still nothing.
what?
I remember that.
Yeah. She goes, well, I noticed something, that when I placed that spirit there, it wasn't the only one. Were you aware of that? You're carrying someone inside of you.
I'm pregnant?
No, you two aren't here.
No, I had no clue.
She goes, well, I don't want to pry, but I can help you if you'd like to. Would you like to convene with them? Figure out who they are, what they want, why they're there?
Absolutely, I would love nothing more than to learn a little bit more about me and I guess the things I didn't know about me.
That's not Sophine, is it?
No, this is Tabitha. I just suck at accents and have practically the same one.
No, dude, you're
Sophie
good.
talks like a drunk Cajun.
You right?
You do a bajillion characters. You
Shook.
can only have so many.
a drunk Cajun.
Listen,
Is there any other?
Yeah.
Did that play? I don't hear it. Yeah, there we go. It's quiet, but it's coming in. In the twilight, Tabitha begins to sing. A haunting, dirge-like melody. She stabs her silver khopesh into the ground and lights several candles. She places some on the cobblestone path, others on the grave, and one on the hilt of her weapon, before kneeling before it. The flickering flames dance in the autumn breeze, and you can't help but feel comforted, as you often are, by the flames around you, the subtle warmth and glow that they provide. Tabitha's song continues as she turns her attention to you, and begins to pull from you a bit of essence. A small, white, glowing orb emerges from your chest and drifts about the space lazily. She continues, and another emerges, and another, and 3 more, and 4 more, until there are perhaps a dozen of these small little orbs drifting about you. And they begin to take shape. Humanoid, ethereal and translucent, and yet familiar. Figures that you know well. And with a heavy heart, you realize that they're your family, your tribesmen, your fellow Fire Ganassi that were killed in the Grey Wolf attack. Your parents, siblings, and friends join in the haunting melody. And you realize as these are being pulled out of you how much colder you feel. You're almost a little hollow, like you're less sure of your abilities, less capable. One figure drifts closer, your father, and places his hand on your shoulder, surprisingly warm for a spirit. Zerok, you've grown, my son.
Yeah, at this point I'm like, a little bit freaked out. I'm like, I never thought I would see you again. How are you here?
How long has it been since the attack on our village?
Years.
Yeah. In our final moments, we refused to pass on, refused to allow any more of our kinsmen to die for crimes they did not commit. We sought to embolden the survivors. And each of us here, independently, chose you as our champion. With each spirit, we added our strength to yours, trying to forge you into something greater than we ever could be independently. You are the champion of our people. And you continue to grow stronger each and every day. I barely recognize you.
Explained so much about what happened immediately afterwards and all the things I can do now. It's so incredible to talk to you again, even just one more time.
Well, I'm not going anywhere. And at that point, two of the larger spirits bore themselves into you once more, piercing into your chest, and you hear familiar voices of fallen warriors who had protected your village. We give you our strength. Two more rush forward. We give you our swiftness. Two more return to your chest. We give you our resilience. The final spirits drift back into you until it's just your father. He says, we will give you our soul fires to light your path, sear your foes, and to keep the darkness and the chill at bay. And we'll be here when you need to call upon us. Before he goes in to embrace you, and as he does, himself sinks back into your chest. You feel whole once again, and even more so, feeling empowered, emblazoned. You, meta-wise, have unlocked a new feat, the Ancestor's Flame, which I've added to your character sheet. You get to pick a couple of new spells under the Manage Spells or Manage Feats tab. And Z looks around and realizes that Tabitha's gone. Perhaps wanting to give you privacy in this moment. Her song faded out while you were speaking to your family, but you know that if you ever want to convene with them again, that Tabby can help you with that, if you so choose. And it's odd to be here in this place of death with tombstones all around you and feel so connected to the people that you've lost. And with that, my dudes,
Beautiful.
we're going to go ahead and take a break. Let's take 5 to 10, get some drinks, get some snacks, listen to Tabby hauntingly sing, and we'll meet back here in just a minute.
Did anybody else get Lord of the Rings vibes from that? My axe, my bow,
Perfect.
seed.
Since we're out of character, when I was doing Goldbrand's scene, like I finished it and I'm like, oh, this is great. He's on the glowing path. There's all these other Starkeepers. And then like when I was reading through it today, I'm like, wait a fucking minute. This is Avatar. This is him on the fucking Spirit Bridge and all the fucking other avatars behind him.
I actually literally wrote in my notes while you were doing that. He realizes he's the Avatar question mark.
Basically, yeah. Oh god. All right, my dudes. I'll catch you back in just a minute. With that, my dudes, we're gonna hop back into it. All right. All of you return to the keep, the inn, wherever your beds may be for the night, alone or with company of your choosing. Oh. Some of you have loved ones who are very happy to see you back. Davos over here like, yeah, Davos fucks. Some of you may even choose, Goldbrand, I imagine you might return to Hydia and the tribe for the night to speak with them and, make them aware.
Tell them we're going to throw a party.
We can.
Well, they're not a party, but if there are rites to be done when a member becomes fully blooded, he would inform them that Gideon could take those. He wouldn't hide the story from them.
Interesting.
I think we should make the fucking holy mans and Uth guards.
Wow, that's high honor.
I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Before we get
he
to
would tell them the whole story, but you're good. Go.
Before we get to that, you guys have your rest, and you at this point you may use the long rest button to restore your feats and spells and whatnot, whittle down some of that exhaustion. But many of you are beset with dreams. Bergen, you dream of a bitter winter, snow and sleet and hail peppering you with a sting that feels all too real. Pandora, you dream of your sister. The last time that you saw her, terrified in the attack that sunk your ship. You watch as she slips beneath the waves. Z, you dream of your family. Not even in self-aware way where you're, thankful to have them that you've missed, that it feels comfortable, like you never lost them. Warm, happier memories of days long gone. And Davos, you dream of flying with Helena on Spot, your beloved Pegasus. It's a warm and comforting memory until the bright skies grow dark and some immense figure is blocking the sun, trying to swallow the three of you whole. And just when you feel as if it's about to succeed, a blur of red light as the rapier, Azazel's rapier, stops the creature. Your dreams, however curious, however fleeting, come to an end as you all awake the following morning. On the 19th of Marpanoff, which is the dumbest sounding month in this whole fucking fake universe, I swear.
So is that late
Marpanoff.
fall? Is that late fall or early
Late
winter?
fall. It's, I think there's... Let me double check. Yeah, it's the middle month of fall. There's one more fall month. You all awaken. And I imagine gathered near the keep. Of course, a hearty breakfast is laid out, and you find that Daphne has added extra chairs for some of your guests. Because there is now 9 of you, counting Talib and Zatari and Valkyr. All of whom are accepting of the newcomers. Zatari in particular, like, well, fuck, y'all picked me up in the middle of fucking nowhere, so I guess it's kind of your habit now, isn't it?
Gotta pick up all the strays.
It's an unusual
Hopefully these
family.
won't be used to power up another Von and Dodd.
Yeah. Zatari like gives like a fake laugh and kind of darts his eyes over to Z, the other fire-based character, like,
Well, maybe.
Daphne.
I think Z's okay. we could say that they definitely have the chance to let us die.
That is true.
Probably will many more.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as they choose to stick around, yes. Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not.
Daphne greets you all warmly, welcoming you, new and old. And she says, I know that you have just returned, but quite a bit has happened since you have left, and I would love to catch you abreast of the developments that have gone underway.
He said breasts.
I imagine that's in character, too. This, by the way, if you guys go into the Storm King's Thunder chat, there is a tab called... What the fuck are you called? Strongholds and Followers. This has pictures of most of the main NPCs that you'll meet around town, as well as some that you guys have fought off and such. Toward the very top, you will see a beautiful pink-skinned woman named Daphne Blackquill. And that is who is speaking at the moment.
Wink, wink.
She says, Gulbrands, the Uthgarts have returned from delivering the artifacts to Stone Stand and Flint Rock. And they've returned to their camp outside the walls. Which, if you didn't notice on your map in the bottom left corner, I put in a little camp. I did a lot of work on this, okay? I spent like 3 hours on this over the week, so y'all fucking appreciate it. Pieces of shit. I will remind you that you do have the Fire Opal necklace, as well as the Fake horn. Registered trademark.
Oh, damn, good job, Joey.
And you guys can choose to utilize
Picture of
that.
Daphne.
Picture of
Sorry,
Daphne.
I went and fetched the picture of Daphne and posted it again.
I see. Bless.
Oh yeah, she's like a babe. And we're all over that.
They
Just wrapping her tail like around her ankle, just meh.
just purring softly the entire breakfast. Perfect. So, Devin, I will tell you that you have 2 more artifacts if you would like to redispatch your Uthgar allies.
Let's send them to the next closest. The next 2 that are closest.
Okay. So you're sending the acorn and the fire opal necklace out, correct?
Yeah.
Gonna get a quick global perspective.
So I guess we want the Goldbrand kind of superstitiously wants the acorn planted in the misty forest. If he will ask. Oh, it's not. I don't know. He would short story call Safine and maybe see if she could tell him where that was, or if she could plant that and plant it in that same spot.
You call her, to see her once again in bed, with another blue-skinned tiefling behind her, and she just did Devin put together who that was, or she she goes, well, you didn't have to call, Shook. I'm not that far away. I did pop into town yesterday, you remember. I'll be up in a second. And she gets dressed and heads up that way.
Was that the one that Goldbrand was flirting with in the beginning? Or was that...
No, but that would be fun. Fucking Safine sleeping with all y'all bitches. Safine comes, and if you tell her your plan to plant the fake horn, she will identify it. Eyes flicker with golden flames as she looks it over and says, well, it doesn't seem to be malicious. I understand that giant artifacts and draconic artifacts conceal the Feywild. I was unaware that Fey items could too, but if she said outright in her court, then she can't have deceived you. No, if you seek to have it planted there, I can either assist if you like, or let your men handle it.
I want to make sure it gets to the right spots. Will you go and put this there?
Happily, as she disappears in a burst of blue light.
Before you go.
Too late.
You go.
Too late. No, go ahead. Did you have something?
Wait, is it too late or not?
No, you have a second. Go ahead.
Okay.
You see her start to cast the components that you are especially familiar with because she showed them to help you learn Dimension Door. So you catch her before she finishes it.
Can you tell me what the hell, and like in a rolled up protective layer, what this is?
She, without even touching it, curls her hands, and what some of you spellcasters might recognize as a mage hand. Very simple spell. Lifts it up to where she's not physically touching it. She goes, ooh, this is dark. This is his, isn't it? Azazel? I thought I recognized it. It's exceptionally powerful. It seems that, and I'm trying to think of non-meta ways to describe this. It seems you could use this as a second weapon even if your hands were full. It can channel the fires of hell through it. It can even transport you to it. I will warn you, I cannot see curses with my magic. Or can anyone using this spell. It's sort of a shortcoming. This may have drawbacks, but its power is impressive. If you'd like to sell it, I'd be happy to give you some gold for it, Shug.
I'm not using that thing.
Take the gold. Take the gold.
Yeah, I agree with the cat.
Safine pulls out a sack and throws it to you, Davos. As she opens her own haversack and drops it in. Davos, you open it to find 500 platinum pieces.
We ran.
Wow.
The equivalent of 5,000 gold.
Damn.
Gold pieces.
Wow. She goes, another one for the collection. Thank you. I'll see if I can't get the curse broken, if it has one.
Oh,
any
it's
of you-
got one.
What was that?
So it's got one.
Oh, it's got one. Accurate. Oh, you do tell her that you were unable to let it go, and she says that quite likely it is. I'll see if I can't get rid of that. Spellcraft such as this is delicate, but most curses can be broken. She takes it, gives you your gold, and unless anyone has anything else for her, she poofs out. Radiant flash of blinding blue light. Daphne, standing back up. Speaking of Uthgard, I know that we have got a little off subject there. A dark-skinned man from Loudwater came asking for you, Goldbrand. He said that he heard that your forces slew Nim the rat and the snail, and he wants to join our cause. He is likewise within the Uthgard camp. I'm gonna drop y'all back on the map. Oop.
Interesting.
Sidiri.
He's a spy.
Sorry?
I said, I wonder if he's a spy. I guess Goldbrand will say that aloud if where he's getting this news with the group.
Well, if you'd like, we could...
Inside?
I mean,
Or- No.
we can go check him out, it seems, after this.
Yeah. Sidiri will notify you that the troops are rather well trained and well armed now thanks to the improvements you've placed within the barracks and the blacksmith. That new smith of yours, Brom, is proven quite worth his mettle. And while his improvements are not yet finished for the mithril that he's promised us, and while I doubt that many of my men will see it, I can expect soon he'll have advancements for you. Daphne will also report the crew of the Westwind Waven dropped off the freed slaves after you escaped Iron Slag, those who had different destinations, and then brought everyone else here. After your absence went on for a few days, they announced that they would be continuing their search for Felgalis, but as you have their sending stone, you can summon them back to be here within a few days. I imagine you guys would want to go ahead and get them headed back home. Si se puede? No se puede?
The
Okay. You call Captain Tajin, who says, Yes, we were searching the northern reaches of the high forest for Felgalis, but have found no sign of him as of yet. We can be back to Nightstone in perhaps 3 or 4 nights. We will make haste. Morak has been quite busy with construction, as you returning lords can see around town. There are several new homes that have been made for the refugees that you seem to gather like trading cards.
Lost
And-
to a flame.
In your absence, Valkyr, Zatari, and Taliband have agreed that the next construction project to be the blacksmith, as you guys had emptied out your queue in your absence, and that they paid from the Nightstone Reserve, which does not have a whole hell of a lot of money in it now. By the way, before I forget, somebody add that 500 platinum to your piggy
Meow,
bank.
come here.
Roger.
And then Osvius and I, as she gestures to a blue-skinned tiefling, not the same blue-skinned tiefling, have researched Bane, as you had requested us. We know, of course, that this is a title given to the champion of one of the gods known as the Dead Three, Bane. More specifically, this refers to Rivara Darkwind, the current commander of the Zent military forces, and an absolutely ruthless commander she is. Driven to cut down those who oppose the Zentarum, Rivara is... Riviera? I think that's right. Is unyielding. Her tactical brilliance knows how to crush hope, overwhelms the enemy until their swords and spirits break. Her men would follow her into the pits of the abyss if she barked the order, because they trust her cunning to get them out. Based on this letter, I would say that Nightstone should ramp up its defenses. Osvius will chirp up. Now that I have researched the Bane, as you have requested, what would you like me to focus on next? The Zent? The Iron Ring?
I reckon after all that.
Should we do Iron Ring or Zent?
I feel like that's probably most of the information we can get on him. I guess we could do the Zant organization, but I don't know how much more there is to get about him.
Yeah. You know that Bane Darkwind is tied to the Zentarum, so this is sort of the next scoop of information you could get. You could try to, if you want to find something out specific, you're welcome to ask it, but I will say as far as general knowledge goes, he was studying, Osvius has been doing a lot of studying on the Zent, between him shadowing the snail and Pincheska and their deals. not as much on the Iron Ring. And actually, even 12. Gideon is in the keep and pipes in. I would like to go investigate the Iron Ring with Osvius, if you so choose, but I can't let them continue what they're doing.
How old does he look? Oh well, I guess Gorbran doesn't care. He
Upper-
killed a man.
Upper
He can do it.
teens, 20s. But yes, did kill a man. You!
He killed a, yeah.
Killed the unformal man, yeah!
Gorbran's like, well, I guess you can do what you want, but you should take Sims with you. Is it hard for you to work blue ones? With
Can you take a protege?
Osvius, who's now younger than Gideon, technically, Gideon goes, "Oh, come on now, I'm not entirely helpless." And he poops with the Missy Step over, and he snaps his fingers and becomes invisible.
Oh shit!
And you hear his voice as he walks around the room. I picked up a few tricks in the Fae that I'm not exactly... I may not be the stealthiest there is, but I've got a few things to help me get by. Between the two of us, I think we'll be fine. And you watch as an apple lifts up, a bite disappears, and he reapparates.
Cool.
if no one else is opposed.
Okay.
I'm not.
Iron Ring. Oop. Daphne also says, Dwarvish diplomats arrived a few days ago, led by a man named Edmund. I will fetch them for you. A few moments pass before a small band of dwarves, one that looks very familiar, escorted by 4 guards, 2 of which are ones that you freed from Iron Slag as well. And he approaches. Lords of Nightstone. Shit, I'm doing Daphne's accent. Lords of Nightstone, on behalf of all of Gauntlgrim, you have our deepest gratitudes and thanks for freeing our citizens, and for returning Megara to her slumber within the lake of lava, but in the Underdark. You will be pleased to know that she is still within her slumber, and we have tripled security around her and made efforts to seal off all but one access point. My people have brought supplies to your town, hearty stone and tempered steel for your weapons and defenses. And after freeing us, we returned with forces to free the remaining slaves. We were able to liberate everyone. But one interesting thing we did see along the way, however, was the Red Dragon, Malthazar, as we know him to be called. We're certain it was the same one you encountered, as he was missing a wing. But upon closer inspection, we had originally assumed him to die from his injuries from Zavanandad. And yet, he was missing his head. I do not know what to make of this information.
Fucking excuse me?
He was decapitated. And whatever it is,
That's not ominous at all.
seems to have taken it with them. While we are unsure of what to make of that, we are certain of one thing. If Nightstone should ever need aid in battle, that Gauntlgrim will send forces to your aid. We have provided you a sending stone so that you may communicate with us as necessary. I believe your captain Sidiri has it.
How soon could you get troops here from Gauntlgrim?
He says, Gauntlgrim, of course, is within the Underdark, but we have channels that can get us here fairly quickly. 5, maybe 7 days if we are slowed. But with even a little notice, we could be here with the utmost haste.
You might want to speak with our secretaries about a long-standing agreements.
Daphne, I mean, the
We call
lords
them
would make...
scribes, Goldburn.
Yes.
We need a better title for her than secretary. Just be like
I know. Like, it's-
secretary. of
I am
fucking
technically High
Nightstone.
Scribe of Nightstone if we are getting technical, but it is, no one, Goldbrand can't read the plaque above my office, I understand, it is difficult for him.
You can't get much higher than Goldbrand.
Like sick burn.
We'd be nothing without you, Daphne.
She goes, "Oh, trust me, I know it. This town would have burned down long ago."
We shall build a statue in your honor.
She goes, "Oh, I will get Morak right on that. That sounds fantastic." I like to think she's even like, "Yes, get some of the stoneworkers. I want them to go ahead and make a likeness of me so that they can preserve it. Make sure they get my good sides." She will also ask you. She will ask you what you would like to build next, and instead of give you this long list of shit, I'll put it in chat, and you guys can just vote on what you want to build before next session. I guess technically you'll have access to new buildings since you have some new friends. So I will look at that.
Yay!
Sorcerer. We already had a fighter. We already had a rogue. Okay, so the sorcerer is the only new building. Actually, I might do something with that. That would be fun. She does ask you, where would you like to, where are you heading next, if I might ask, so that we can help you prepare accordingly?
The bar.
She's like, why not bring the bar to you? And she snaps her fingers as Felix, the little halfling, I don't want to say waiter, house servant? I don't know, your butler. Comes in with like a mimosas, I guess. Passes them out.
Hell yeah, mimosas.
A refreshment courier.
Guess it is still breakfast time,
Yeah, early in the day. But I had meant where you will be heading from Nightstone. You have defeated the fire giants, and every other, the frost, the hill, and the stone. Do you plan to continue that, or is there something else that has taken your priorities?
Well, we found Gideon.
I mean, I'm just here for ship money.
Tao says something about Waterdeep.
What's in Waterdeep?
She said she was in Waterdeep.
That's what you. Okay, yeah.
Oh man, I don't. Oberon has a personal vendetta that he wants to settle, but
you can voice it. I know who you're gonna say.
Goldburn, I don't know if you'd ask Daphne about it. I don't know. Goldburn wants to know how to get to hell. He's gonna go find Azazel and just murk him.
Gideon will say, "Well, I can give it a second try if you're really insistent, but."
No, different place, I believe.
There you go. Daphne, what, you assume that all tieflings know how to get to hell because we have horns and funny skin, is that it, huh? No.
I mean, if we're being honest, yeah, kind of like...
I'd be someone on the side, like, I mean, he has a point. She will, I do not know of any direct way to cross the realms is that. Walking the plains is incredibly powerful magic, and is known to few. I am afraid I am unaware of how to do such a thing.
Can you not find information about it?
I certainly could. It will take a little bit of time. I do not believe this is something that we will have tomes on here, so I will have to do some... have to request some tomes from Waterdeep or Daggerford.
Should we go after some more conscious?
Yeah, that's what my other thought.
That's
what my
there is only one remaining.
Yeah. We might have some splaining.
Cloud? Or not the Cloud?
Yes.
Storm Giant?
No, you're right. Yeah. The Cloud Giants. And if you say that, you hear like a scramble in the library that's adjacent to the main entry area. If you guys go to the bottom right of your map, you'll see a lovely interior shot of Nightstone Keep. And you fuckers are, I imagine, either around the war room or around the kitchen table. But just...
Have you ever thought about being a caddy?
This is the horror.
Or a greenskeeper?
Why?
Former greenskeeper. About to win the Masters.
Oh, God. Just to the left of that, where you see Daphne's icon, actually, is the library, where Daphne and Donovan do most of their work. And when you say Cloud Giants, Donovan scrambles in. The Cloud Giants. The ones who stole the Nightstone, yes?
That's what we think.
That would be incredible. To actually have the Nightstone here I would be able to do so much more research with it. Under your supervision, of course. But I should warn you, if you plan to bring...
Jack?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fucking GHB.
GHB.
GHB, the ginger holy
Six, six.
bastard.
George H. Bush. Okay. He seems to be genuine. He's very interested in researching it. He plans to do it under your supervision. He doesn't seem to be dishonest about it. He is excited, but considering the man's sort of devoted a chunk of his life to, learning more about it, and seems very close to a breakthrough. I mean, he's, that of, the first person to be able to decipher the runes. But he does add on to his statement. If you are going to bring the Nightstone back here, you may want to improve your defenses. I mean, no offense, but there's not much stopping the Cloud Giants from just coming back and taking it, or anything else with wings.
With our track records, they'll all mostly be dead.
There's a lot
No,
of things
he
to
does
kill,
have
my
a
friend.
point. Yeah, we need some ballistas.
I will tell you guys, meta-wise, that is part of your keep upgrade. That you get some siege weapons with that. But y'all can look at that next week. Or between now and next week. At this point, I'm going to open it up to you guys. If you would like to visit any NPCs, buy any weapons or armor, sell anything you don't want, deposit gold into your treasury. Whatever you guys pick will cost a good chunk of gold. A lot of the class-specific buildings are between 3,000 and 4,000. The keep upgrade is 4,200. It's the most expensive.
That's two people that told us we need to upgrade defenses.
Yeah. For sure.
Indeed. It is one of the few things you have that is still level 1 as well.
Oh. Does it jump automatically to 4, or is it just to 2?
To 2.
I see.
Everything has technically 3 tiers. The blacksmith you unlocked a special one for because we added mithril late game. But almost everything else is at least level 2. The shop is still level 1, like the normal shop. She also tells you that if you would like, we could build a library, a dueling grounds, a sauna, a brothel, anything that you want that we do not already possess.
Fucks all of it.
That's what they do in the brothel. Yes, they fucks all of that. Yes. Remember the sex dungeon you asked me about when we first met? We could have one of those in there.
No one still explained to me what that is, but I don't want to live in the city. Skullbrand's gonna go. He's not gonna go, but he's.
I guess I'll just go to the apothecary as well for no reason.
For no reason. Heard. Okay, we'll do that one first. You go to visit Helena, who, after spending what I imagine was a wonderful night. Oh, actually, I talked about this. You were absent. So last time you guys ran off and faded to black, we just narrated that you had a nice dinner, blah, blah, blah. I want Davos to tell us how he woos his woman. What do you... Lay on the cheese, please.
I know, bottle of wine, chocolate-covered strawberries, hand on the thigh. It's like butter, baby.
Like butter, baby.
Butter on thigh.
A couple of songs on the lute, and they all, she's an old friend.
Yeah,
I know all her.
I made the joke that you were probably going to serenade her wearing nothing but the lute.
Oh, definitely. There was
Beautiful.
socks.
There was socks. Perfect. Yeah, it gets chilly. It's stone floors. It's fucking medieval.
That and like feet on the dirt. It's like then you track that into the bed.
Where? Oh, okay, yeah. I was about to say, where are you when this goes down? Are you in the keep in your room? Or are you in the inn, out in a field somewhere?
I think we were out in nature.
Oh wow!
Shooting
Very classy.
stars.
Flew out
Goldbrand did like
I was about to say, Goldbrand throwing javelins behind him, big fucking shooting stars.
there was a
for you.
weird constellation of a dragon at one point.
Beautiful. Use minor illusion to make the stars dance. Fucking excellent. She does, coming back to the current moment, she does provide you with 2 more greater healing potions. She goes, I always love it when you visit me. That's why I never bring these to you. I like to make you come get your just desserts. Tell me, have these been proving useful?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Goldbrand would be dead without him.
From what I heard about Gideon, I'm surprised he's not. I mean, Jesus. The whole thing's like some... Oh, they don't have soap operas here. Fuck.
Yeah,
The whole thing's like some cheesy street theater play.
I mean, I've been mad at my dad too, but jeez. Like, do we have a psychiatrist in town yet? Need to maybe invest in one of those.
Yeah, that's what you should get working on now. Yeah, need some psychotherapy.
For all the Goldbrand's whelps.
Oh, yeah, family sessions, for sure. Yeah, got to work through that parental trauma. At least some of them seem nice. I've talked to Revna a couple of times. She seems like she turned out okay. Don't know about any of the others, but...
what about, Nishal?
Oh, Nijal, yeah. It's funny. He actually came in a few days ago, picked up a couple of things. It's weird. I don't see a lot of the Uthgard, like, around town, but he's been popping up here and there. I don't know. He seems nice enough. He's quiet. I don't know. Maybe he thinks that life among the city would be better for him.
Probably the furthest place from his dad.
Well, I can understand that. I mean, after all, I never even knew my dad. Well, unless you came for anything else, I guess I'll catch you later. A little music at the tavern?
Of course. Thanks for the jugs.
Okay, never mind.
And may I say that once again you are very radiant, glowing.
Why, thank you. That's very sweet. Unless anything else with Helena, anyone else like to talk to an NPC or buy anything or sell anything?
I would like to trade in some loot for a diamond, a replacement diamond for the one I burnt on Goldbrand.
Excellent. I think it needs to be 300 gold, is that right? Or 250? Look at your...
No, it's 300.
It is 300? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. So you have enough gold to where you can outright just buy that. Or you can sell some stuff if you want. You guys do have quite a bit of valuables that you can liquidate. And if y'all want to upgrade your keep, you're going to need about 4k more in your treasury. Looking at it, you can get... If you,
we just got?
well, not counting that, sorry. That, I assume, is on your person unless you deposit it into the treasury.
Unless we want to do anything else with it. Oh, well.
You could also, if you sell, you have 7 gemstones worth 500 gold, that's 3,500 right there. So that's a chunk of what you need. For what it's worth. But I need someone to pick what you're selling, because I'm not going to pick stuff for you. There are also other things like gold flutes, ivory drinking horn, scrimshaw.
Do any of you have any things you want to sell?
I was going to say, I'm not really preferential on any of that. I was going to sell some of them gems to cover the diamond cost, if everybody's cool with that.
Yeah, we'll say you sell the 3 gemstone necklaces, that's 750 gold. So put in plus 150 gold, plus 2 300 gold diamonds.
2 300 gold diamonds?
Correct, he asked for 2. Alright, anything else going on the record for sold? Going once. Going twice. Sold! The lowest bidder. Excellent. Any other NPCs you guys want to check in on? Anything that our newcomers want to buy as far as weapons or equipment?
Do we
Just want to
have a-
pray to Helm, stop by the old church, check on the troops, and make sure they're all good. And
You stop by, and the church is nice. I mean, you have, for those of you looking at the map, it's up here on the northwest side of the town. I mean, it's beautiful, stained glass depicting Helm, and oh God, his lover, not the knight. Wow, what's her name? The one who was killed because of Lathander's negligence, quote unquote.
did it start with an N?
Maybe. Regardless, beautiful stained glass all around. You see soldiers that are hard at work, not only within the church itself, but around town. You see that they seem to be acting as guards in some ways, helping out with keeping order in the city, especially a city that's growing as rapidly as you guys are. When y'all started, y'all had maybe 60 people, and now you guys are somewhere between 300 and 500. Y'all have collected so many people, and not even just the ones that you've collected. You've put Nightstone on the map, and because of that, more people have been drawn to your town. You notice that your town square is now almost a bazaar, a marketplace in of itself. There are shopkeepers all around, and it's beautiful. Some of them are from Goldenfield, some of them are from Daggerford with your trade agreement with the new Lady Daggerford. Some of them are from Waterdeep. You know, there is a almost a cosmopolitan air about it. Devin, you're silent. There's a cosmopolitan air about the city where it's no longer fairly monolithic, where it's like a couple of dwarves, a couple of tieflings, mostly humans, and some elves. You see several different types of people. There's tabaxis, there's dragonborns, there are a turtle or two that for a second you think is a coup, but is not. And he calls you racist for assuming as such. But it's refreshing to see this, what your city has become. But you talk to Captain Phillips, and he tells you that, oh yes, we've been working very hard to train up the troops. We've been doing gallops around the area and running down to the crossroads down and back, sending people out on excursions and keeping a message, or keeping a steady line of messages between us and Helmshold to stay abreast of any developments.
Pressed.
God damn it. If you have any orders, we of course wait on bated breath to fulfill them.
Tell him where to go, Vindicator. Do it.
Stone Spur, are you dead? You don't have to give them orders, but if you choose to.
Okay, yeah. No orders. Chill and make sure everything's good on the home front.
I like to think like Bergen comes in like, yep, this looks good. Yep, you're doing a good job here. Keep up the good work.
It's okay. Totally know what I'm doing here.
Exactly.
I want to know if there are any shops or areas in the bazaar where people might be selling any kind of magical trinkets or anything like that.
Magical trinkets are a little trickier. Is there something in particular you're looking for?
Not necessarily. I like shopping around and seeing what I can find as far as like little items go, especially things I can wear. So like I typically just have a robe on. I have that elven armor on.
Well, in that case, you find a circlet that will give you advantage on spell saves, or excuse me, on advantage on concentration checks with your spells, for 600 gold. You also find a ring of protection that will provide a +1 to your AC. We'll say that one's 800 gold. And you also find a +1 dagger. I might give that a minor enchantment or something, but the shopkeep just knows that it has some type of magical qualities, and he'll put 1,000 gold on it. So that's a circlet of concentration for 600, a ring of protection for 800, or the +1 dagger for 1,000.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys are the ones that have all the money in the bag. I came in here with nothing. What's the
Oh, that's right.
the treasury looking like?
Y'all have got a pretty good bit of coin.
I was about to say, I imagine we.
Did you guys just
imagine
sell a
we-
bunch of stuff to afford something? I don't want to steal all your money.
I was gonna say let's figure out what we want to do for like the improvements first, maybe, and then see what we got to work with.
That's fair. I will say the three of you that are still here from the frog attack, I'll say there was some booty in the temple. Was there booty in the temple, Devin? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was.
I think they got a
Shut
little.
the fuck up, Mentor.
Yeah, I think they got a little bit. I don't think they got a large sum by any means. If there was any at all.
I will say that each of the three of you have 250 gold pieces. To have some coin in your pocket.
I got 3. So
And I personally don't mind like letting them get what they need.
Same.
That's just me.
I feel like they
See, I'll
just
just
need to
steal
be-
whatever I need. I'm okay.
I feel like especially maybe at some point around the war room, Goldbrand probably would have asked these newcomers like, "What are your plans now? We got out
Yeah.
of that fucking's place, so now what's for yous? You
I
saved
gotta
their
find
life."
this asshole, and I pull out a little scroll from one of my belt pouches, and it's got this pompous-looking motherfucker on it. His name, you might have heard of him. This Armand Hammer.
This was
Yeah,
pirate thing I remember.
Oh my god.
Who the
Let me
fuck
tell
is
you.
Armand?
Actual
Commodore
cannibal Armand Hammer.
is a wild bastard.
Wow.
Yeah, I need a new
Y'all-
ship, so I know that's not in your immediate plans, but surely if I find this man, I'll beat him into a pulp and have a ship again. Be out of
Yeah,
y'all's
I-
hair.
Maybe
the
beat him
bones
into a
from his
powder
body.
might be easier.
Oh, shut the fuck. That's actually really good.
Oh man.
It'll take Devin about 3 weeks to get that joke, but
No, I hate it.
I was about to say,
So
jeez.
I imagine, yeah, and they tell you that you could actually give that to the guards, and they could keep it posted and keep an eye out. They don't have much of a perimeter outside the city itself, but if he ever pops his face in here, they will know.
Yeah.
Sidiri.
Yeah. Gideon will also probably chime in at some point. So, like, it feels like I've been gone forever. And when I left, it felt like we had enemies left and right. Where do we stand with all of them? Who do we stand against?
Oh boys.
This is a little opportunity to catch up our newbies.
Espionage art.
Well, catch them up on who are your enemies.
Well.
So I'll make it easy on you. I'll name the people. You guys tell me what you know about them. First, there is the Zentarum as a whole.
Assholes.
Assholes.
Yeah.
In fact, you would have all heard of the Zentarum. They're sort of a shady organization that sort of runs things from the shadows. They take over things, take over whole towns financially, and use
that's my job.
bribery and blackmail to get what they want and spread their influence.
And a backstory when we
Yeah,
first
that's
came to
one of the obstacles to the
Nightstone.
black market.
What was that?
When we
Ben?
first came to Night.
I said they add plenty of obstacles to the black market, that's for sure.
Indeed. Brandon?
And yeah, when we first came to Nightstone, there was a Zentarum spy that was attempting just that, to gather all the info to hopefully infiltrate the town. We ran her off. And then she ended up being a lady of Daggerford?
Waterdeep.
Waterdeep.
She is. She does. I'm not gonna say that out loud. Never mind.
You guys, I imagine Valkyr, Tally, and Zad are also, in this discussion, and they would throw in that, oh yeah, the Zent are a real problem. We took down one of their agents, Nim the Rat, who was in Loudwater. We took down the Snail, who was running things in Daggerford. And what's this new person that they're sending out for us?
Commodore Hammer.
Bane?
Bane, yeah, that's it. Bane Darkwind. Spooky name for a spooky dude, or spooky gal, I guess. Yeah, apparently they're supposed to be coming with some bad news, but they're coming from a long way away, Darkhold, which is weeks of travel, so I don't know exactly when they'll get here, but it'll be good to have our walls up and ready when they do. Right?
So we're battling those guys.
The Iron Ring. What do y'all know about them?
I always thought of them as subset of the Zentarum.
If you say that, Gideon will go, no. So they cooperate at times, but they are separate organizations. They have their own motivations, their own leaderships. They just, on occasion, form alliances to get where they need. Now, the Zentarum, they're greedy. They want land, control, power, money. The Iron Ring, they're cruel. They want lives. They want livestock in the form of people to sell off. We know that they're based out of Skullport, which is underwater deep in the Underdark. We know that they're led by a Mergo, the Horned Dwarf, who's honestly at the top of my shit list, at least. We've taken out a few of their members, but most notably a dwarf by the name of Jasper. It's actually where Dad got that scythe.
Yes,
Oh.
I left this behind, and then when I got up this morning, it was next to my fucking scythes. So now I don't know what the fuck's to do with it, and he takes it out. And, presents it like, what do with that?
I thought you said you took
definitely
it.
left that.
He left it.
Yeah, he left it. Yeah.
Oh.
But now it's back, and he's mad. He's pissed about it. Goldburn expresses this. As he should be. He says that.
Spoopy.
Because
Barbarian of Death.
right.
They fucked.
Kind of cool though.
That's a vibe. Axe and a scythe.
Fucking scythe that never leaves you.
Isn't it worth it?
That's a sight to see.
Ah. Ah. I am dead. Beautiful. Okay, thank you for that. God, now I completely forgot where I was. Gideon
All
says,
of our enemies. We hate giants.
"Oh
No
yeah,
offense to Goldburn.
Yeah.
yeah."
Yeah, I think we all hate giants.
They'll recount them through their various motivations for, but how they took down the leader of the hill giants, the stone giants, the fire giants, the frost giants, and Ark and Pandora. You two would be probably particularly impressed with the frost giants. You've encountered some of them on the high seas, and I mean, their ships enormous, 500 feet from end to end, and these guys are huge. And y'all actually had a minor run-in with one that leapt from his boat and froze the very sea to begin to try to rush up on you guys.
Yeah, that asshole.
That asshole, indeed.
What sight to behold.
Sounds familiar to you three, too.
I was about to say that's fucking.
Storvold, Jarl Storvold,
Yeah.
which, if you'd like to share.
He's dead.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, we killed him.
Kill my mama.
It's good to know.
He dead now.
Dragon over here pulled the ring of one true power and just shard
Accurate.
blasted him straight to the anus.
So there are actually a lot of people that wants to try to kill us, and I guess that is fair to express before you decides what she wants to do.
I mean, that's not new to us.
So wait, Iron
We're
Ring
literally dead.
sent the giants collectively. There's also, you have a little bit of a minor conflict running with the Winter Queen and the Azazel conflicts. You taking Azazel out of the picture might stall her quite a bit. You also know that Zatari will share that Asmodeus, the Demon of Fire, has tried to use him to power a death machine to burn down the continent, and also seems to have ties to Azazel. So while you guys killed Azazel in the field,
we got friends too,
yeah, you're right.
not just enemies. We know a cloud giant, some
Oh,
weird
yeah.
old
Yeah, Zephyros.
Zephyros. Yeah.
Y'all do have a big ally. You also have a couple of giants in a cave out in the woods. 2 hill giants and a stone giant, if I remember correctly. With wolves, you're right.
Killed a
direwolves.
dragon.
Oh yeah, killed Valora of the Mist, a young green dragon that was quasi-terrorizing the region.
Her mentor was pissed.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say, is Gnawbone still kind of on our bad side? Or we're on our bad
I
side?
thought we
She
rather?
pacified
she
that.
came for her crystal ball. You guys placated her
Satisfied.
by giving her some of the runes, and she seemed to accept that trade. She's not a friend by any means, but you don't see an overt reason that she would be after you guys. Speaking of dragons, you've encountered one other dragon.
The
white one?
dragon.
Well, yes, you three encountered the amethyst dragon. Oh, you remember
What
the
I-
amethyst dragon. Something about that clicks. Weren't we supposed to do
Oh,
something?
yeah.
Weren't we?
Supposed to bury something.
I ain't burying my bow, and I kind of clutch it.
Well, the bow came from the ring, which was not the original thing you had.
God, were we supposed to do something for the dragon?
A very important thing. I'm not saying
That
it'll
little hobby.
break my campaign if you forget, but it'll make things harder.
Yeah, can I? I don't know.
Pandora is, you're just like idly like playing with this amethyst gem. Just like, what were we supposed to do?
Nah, it beats me.
Is that a dragon's gem?
No, and I just kind of scratch the ground with my back paw and kind of drop it, cover it over. No, I don't got
Look.
nothing.
I'll be honest, the last time we crossed a dragon, we almost died again.
Listen, I cross the dragon every single day.
Wait, what?
Kind of look over at Ark.
Deception check? Oh, okay.
No. Not a dragon born. A real dragon. Like the oldest freaking thing.
Saying my
I've ever
boy
seen.
ain't dragon enough for you. I see.
Watch
If
your
you-
tongue, little Splinter.
They're very territorial. So if that belongs to a dragon,
Just kind of pat the dirt mound with my foot. Just no, I don't have nothing that belongs to no dragon. Nope, nothing.
Not doing a very good job of selling your case, Par.
I don't have to roll an insight check to say something's a little fishy from that cat.
And not just your breakfast. So you,
Listen, I am not very deceptive today, so here we are.
I will say, make another, you three from, Frog Tower. That's what you guys are now. You're the
Yeah.
you're the frog fighters. Oh, there we go.
Wrong time.
F.
All right,
The
frog
fate
fighters.
Battleton.
If y'all will make another history check, each of you make
God,
one.
Please.
Yeah, someone get more than a 3 this time would be great.
I literally rolled a 3.
Oh
Cool.
no! Ark! Yeah!
There we go.
It was such a low DC too. It was like 10. I was like, God, they're doing
Just
terrible.
one for them too, bro. Like,
You're right. Though. Ark, you remember? Oh, she told us to plant this wherever we land.
Oh yeah.
What's it gonna do?
Let's see.
Oh.
which means we gotta plant it at the bottom of that pit, Captain.
Hold on. You can just go throwing weird stones in the bottom of our city.
And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Just
I'm gonna
because
be
you
like-
said not to, and I'm like, well, you know.
We
Well,
spawned in the
we're
pit.
planting that
The gym
fake
goes
horn.
in
I'm
the
gonna
pit.
put this right beside it. Whoever wins out, I guess, wins out.
I'm gonna toss it with my like pinpoint accuracy. You know, I can shoot shit from pretty far, so I just kind of chuck it as Ark. You know, nudgingly like, "Hey, Captain."
Roll to hit, Barbara. shoot your amethyst bow. Let's just see what it gets. Get at least a 17. Oh, bad shot.
Damn.
Oh. So you're in the keep, you see the hole, you see that it's clear, there's nobody around, you line up your shot, you fire, and you hit the wall just across the bridge, and it lands like right on the edge, and you see like a tentacle come up, like ready to get it, as this giant octopus sort of emerges from the moat around the keep.
No.
I want to go wrestle it.
Make
I think
make an acrobatics check to try to get to it before it does.
Okay. Let's hope this roll isn't as shitty.
It's not super
know
quick.
what?
Ooh.
I want to use one of my luck points. Hold on, I'm
Do
using
it.
one of my luck points to roll again.
Roll lower. Roll lower.
Oh wow.
Oh, there you go. All right. So you watch as like the tentacle, like a couple of the suction cups wrap around it. It begins to pull it down, and you like You were like kind of jogging, but you go like full Sonic style and like sprint and just barely snatch it before it submerges in the water. You're like hanging off the edge of the bridge. Pull yourself up.
Bite it. Just bang.
Bang. Bitey kicks. You
I
can.
haven't told him not to eat you yet. You might want to move away from that.
Oh, that's just dinner for me. Like, don't worry about it. He ain't gonna be the one eating me.
Kitty's cocky. Do you plant said gem?
I mean, I guess so, because I've got, Ark over there giving me the side eye as I'm, like, thinking about just kind of repocketing it.
Part of me wants to think, even though you failed all your checks, that you did remember and you just didn't want to plant this thing.
No, because it's shiny.
But you do plant it within the, and hey, you got a much cooler shiny out of it than a fucking rock, you know. You throw it into the bottom of the pit. I imagine do a little kitty cat scratch as you throw some dirt on top of it. And you feel the ground rumble a bit.
Oh boy.
I knew it.
You watch as the gem, which was sort of lazily covered with dirt, sinks into the ground. And you feel the earth shake a bit, and sprouting from the sides of this hole and around it are more amethysts.
Ooh, more shinies!
A couple of them float lazily above the hole. And it reminds you very much of the area in the Feywild where you encountered the amethyst dragon.
Oh, can my bae hear me from this tree?
This is the middle of the town.
Is this a
square.
portal? Is this a damn portal?
You just infect our entire ecosystem with some strange foreign parasitic.
Did we just close one hole to open up another?
Wink, wink.
Right
here.
Amethyst World is cool.
Oh, God.
She's a hot babe. I don't want to hear it from any of y'all. I'll defend her honor.
Dragons?
I did not close the front door, just to merely open the back.
We'll all be crystals.
Oh, you always open the back door. I can tell.
God. You
I
guys
just not
don't
to
know.
do what it tells me to do.
Anyone who wants to can make an Arcana check.
Hells yes.
Whatever, I'll do it.
I'm stacked in that Arcana with that 7, bro.
Z did very well. Okay.
Good job, Z.
Z, you would
Only roll well
know.
when it doesn't count.
Yeah. You would know that it's not a portal. It's not a Fey portal in what you've read about the portals. It does seem like you tap a couple of the stones that are floating and they sort of drift lazily, but stay in that general gravitational area. It seems to be some type of gravitation magic, as the amethyst dragon displayed. You recall that the context of which it was given to you was that the dragon was surprised that you had made it into her realm, wanted to know how you got there, and had asked you to plant this wherever you returned to. Can't say for certain her motivations, but
Hey, I've done my part.
Oh,
Did you even ask
Sure
the
did.
effects?
I feel like we probably did ask her, and none of us took notes to know.
You didn't really feel like divulging a whole lot to us, so you know what? I just did what I was told.
He gave me a bow.
yeah, I think she told you that it was not a landmark, a
Like
beacon,
a conduit
perhaps.
kind of thing.
Yeah, something to
That's
help her
what it
find. She told you that she was originally of your realm, of the Faerun, before she
Oh, it's a-
retreated into the Feywild when the giants began hunting the gemstone dragons. She seemed to want a beacon to find her way home.
So it's a portal.
Doesn't seem
A
to
beacon.
be. Not in the way that you have
It's
seen
a bad
portals.
signal.
Yes.
It's an apple tile, dude. Like,
I just kind of throw my
Other
hands
people
up and I'm like, hey, for the rest of yous, alright, if a big, dope-looking purple dragon shows up, please don't insta-fight it. It's actually a friend, I think.
Actually,
My
I think
concern is
well, the blue ones. She served the one that bought the magical items, Safine. She serves another mythical creatures like this. There's another one of us that has looked into these matters with me a little bit, and I believe the purple one and the blue ones are at least not malevolent. Is that the correct word?
Oh yeah. Tally is present. He would tell you. Well, yes. The gemstone dragons are not evil or good aligned like the metallic and chromatic dragons are. Most of them are relatively neutral, concerned primarily with self-preservation and the preservation of peace. That is the very reason they were hunted to begin with. The gemstone dragons sought to put an end to the fighting between the dragons and the giants. The giants saw them as easy targets that were exceptionally valuable, and that their scales could be used in the crafting of many things and casting of spells, while their fellow dragons saw them as traitors, and instead of helping them, decided to work against them. Unfortunately, most of them have been lost to time. I know that Zafuhiri has burrowed her way beneath the earth, and lies deep, I suppose, within the Underdark. The Amethyst Dragon, it sounds like, retreated into the Feywild to hide. I've also met a gentleman who serves the Emerald Dragon, a dragonborn like yourself, and he had told me that... oh, no, he doesn't know that. I do not know where the Emerald Dragon resides, but I do know that he hides in a similar such fashion. I'm hesitant to trust it, as I am hesitant to trust anything, but I do not think that it will be... If it didn't eat you when it saw you, then, I mean, can't be all bad.
Yikes.
My question is, did the giants see this beacon as well?
Shrugs. Oh.
I rolled a 7 on Arcana, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Strange
I
light.
after that 7, you're looking like, I don't know. I think beacons are supposed to like make light or something, and this just looks like floaty rocks. This doesn't look like a beacon.
I wonder how this will interact with the Nightstone.
Very good question.
It's great.
We still have the fragment. We can
Yeah, I was about to say, do we want to put our dude to
see
test
if it does anything around it.
We could put our dude to test in that, I guess.
Oh man,
Our
I hope
dude.
you guys like open a black hole in the middle of town accidentally. These forces just don't combine.
Hey, I'm just over here beautifying the town, that's all.
Does that mean you're pissing on all the posts?
Gross. To that effect, by the way, Barbara, the townspeople are delighted. They think it's cool as shit. They're like, oh, cool. Are we like amethyst stone or something? And you hear like Daphne shout up from the keep. Pink stone has a lovely ring to it. Maybe we should do my statue in amethyst. Osbius, come here. And goes off about her shit. I'm trying to think of anything else you guys know about the world falling apart. You do have one other enemy, a very important enemy. You remember fighting Wex, the Kraken priest. You know who he serves. Slackrathel, a Kraken of the deep. Yeah. a horrendous, terrifying monster that... Barb and Ark, you guys would have heard stories of the Kraken and it swallowing ships whole and raining chaos and, you know, using psionic abilities to manipulate people. And have probably come into contact with some of the cultists of the Kraken Society. Now, there's all sorts of cults in this realm. They don't seem particularly more threatening than any other thing, but you would be aware of them at least. You guys have not only fought them, you have a souvenir from your fight. I'll see if anybody remembers what it is.
The octopus?
Well, yes. Was an item not magical. You had it identified. You had detect magic cast on it. Nothing like that. But it was a token.
Oh, I don't remember the name.
Claws?
What was that?
I thought it was the claws that we passed out amongst each other, but
The claws.
maybe,
No.
or maybe it was teeth.
I think that was after you guys fought the dragon.
Yeah.
It was.
Is it the thing that Malbone was interested in?
I don't think so.
No. It's a gambling token. Like you would see in a casino with a golden goose on it. I think someone told you that it was from a particular riverboat casino, for lack of a better word. It is literally a boat casino that was no longer open, apparently. Had suffered a fire some time ago and has been down for repairs. For what that's worth.
Where did we get that?
Is that the boat that sunk
Indeed.
with Pandora's twin sister? No?
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you asking me or Pandora?
Hey, you ever noticed this token before? You like shiny things?
One second. Okay.
That's towards Pandora.
Barbara, make a history check with advantage. Or wait, obviously that's not gone well for us.
The advantage of
Right.
like shiny things. Like
Make a shiny check. She might be off mic as well, actually, if Ben's had to
one
step away.
second.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I go. I don't know.
Let me see if there's anybody else that you guys have. You have lots of friends. You could probably tell them about. You've made alliances with Daggerford, Golden Fields, Secumber. You now have dwarven allies from Gauntlgrim. You have allies at Helmshold. You've managed to unite you've managed to rescue, I guess, quite a few Uthgart from various tribes, some of which have made their way home to Nightstone.
And into the annals of history.
Indeed. You also have sort of a tentative, not a formal military agreement, but a sort of tentative non-aggression pact with Waterdeep. If you have a thing, you're welcome to say.
Are we just still kind of talking to the newcomers?
Yeah, we're going to wrap up here in a second, but I was trying to get us to a point where we can... When we're done talking, I'll get us to the next point where next week we can start at the next location.
So, other than personal vengeance, sounds like the other conch.
They are currently seeking conches of teleportation that the giants use to transport to an underwater city that the storm giants live in. There are 5 of them. They were told that they need to get 1 for each person to travel. They have 4 of the 5. They have taken down the leader of the frost giants, the fire giants, the hill giants, and the stone giants, and managed to collect those 4 conches. So now they just need 1 more. And that is their next destination. The giants that they're going to, the cloud giants, are also the ones that stole the big rock that was in the hole that the pretty pink rocks are now in. The item in question is the Nightstone, which the town gets its name. What do you guys choose to share about that? What do you know about it?
Not a whole lot. It's covered in runes.
Fair.
They took it, the cloud giants. They destroyed this city to do so, raining down rocks and hellfire.
It was
Indeed.
made to end the war, so whatever it does is I don't even.
Pretty fucking powerful is the word you're looking for.
And we have a shard of it that is apparently a key.
bow.
We're gonna
Keystone
get
Light.
going, guys.
What was that?
Alright,
I'll catch y'all next week.
No, yeah.
Appreciate you.
We'll wrap up here in a
guys.
second.
It was fun.
Take it easy, my dude.
Later, yeah.
Just sitting there while you guys are going through the list, and I'm like sort of like counting my fingers on a table. I'm like, listen, alright, since I met you, I had to fight a giant jellyfish bear and a demon that had a
Jellyfish
weird samurai demon and a giant cat person with him. And now you're just listing all of your very infamous, very large, scary enemies.
yeah, there's a kraken. There's
Kraken, slavers, black market, or fucking not anonymous. What am I thinking of? Illuminati. Yeah.
we killed a succubus.
Got
Killed a lot
kissed.
of jets, actually.
Oh yeah.
He's gone.
We actually might be some of the safest. I know our track record doesn't look great, but
Diana. It's gone.
we might be the safest group to hang with on the whole continent.
Speaking of the whole continent, on this lovely map of Faerun and Nightstone, you can see many things that they've killed or that they know is dead, like the frost giant to the northeast, northwest, the fire giants, the Vonendod, Jordana Felonine, and the giant red dragon to the northeast. Azazel 2 or 3 times now. Stone giants, Jasper, just all over the map. I've tried to mark some of your more notable kills and some of the leaders and stuff that you guys have met.
But also, if you hangs around Sweeze, you could become royalties, or we. I was gonna. I don't know. I guess we'll think of that in a tribe, or we could
Please
establish
tell me
councils.
you butcher one of my previous speeches.
Yeah.
He tries to
Annals
repeat.
of history.
He tries to repeat
You
it.
could get anal with history.
Roll a charisma check, Devin.
Oh no.
Or persuasion or persuasion. Oh no, the save will work. He does a surprisingly eloquent rendition for a barely literate actually barely literate's being generous for a Goliath
He's also a pun.
and tells you of
Cute.
Goldbrand gives you the rundown of what he's about, why he's here. He tells you that he reads the stars to find the future and to guide humanity towards salvation. He tells you of him hunting down for 2 years, hunting down the people that he is with now, trying to find the exact people that he needed, that he saw in a vision to bring himself, to preserve this path, that they have overcome countless obstacles, seemingly impossible odds to do so, and along the way have grown incredibly. When they started, they numbered just 6 people, and now they have not only an entire town, but an impressive military alliance with multiple species, multiple towns, multiple cities that have sort of banded together under this ragtag group that has managed to overcome all odds and stop evil in its tracks at every turn.
Yeah, with that inspirational speech, I have like my chin kind of propped up in my hands. And my elbows are up on the table. I'm just kicking my feet at a chair, and I'm like, I think you're a pretty alright guy after all.
Tabitha somewhere's like, the Ganassi's got ghost in his belly, by the way. I figured I should just pass that along for whatever it's worth.
It was the tacos, wasn't it?
I told him to stay away from him. I told him Oren doesn't know what the fuck he's doing when he's cooking, but nobody listens to me.
Not gas, you idiots, ghost.
With that, my dudes, we'll go ahead and call it to with that, the 3rd or 4th day arrives. The Westwind Wyvern arrives. A beautiful airship. Devin, if you can find that picture in Strongholds and Followers and redrop it while I do this. A beautiful airship that the front piece of it is a silver dragon. Absolutely beautiful. The sails are designed to look like dragon wings, and it is aloft, held up by while airships are uncommon, they're not exactly beyond recognition. Most of you know that they're powered by elementals. Air elementals to fill their sails, fire elementals to provide them propulsion and thrust to get off the ground. What? No, he said thrust? Okay. And aboard this ship are a platinum dragonborn with wings flies down to the city and greets you all warmly. Captain Tajin. And he looks familiar to you, Ben. You haven't seen him, but you've heard tell of this person. And it's interesting. He welcomes you and
the Silver Dragon Captain. Yeah, I've heard of him.
yeah. He looks. Oh, and I see that my reputation precedes me. How do you know who I am?
Well, I'm sure you've heard of the dread ship, the Wailing Wyvern.
Oh,
My captain and I are the surviving crew of said ship.
I don't think he knows the Wailing Wyvern. He says Wailing Wyvern is a terrible name. Westwind Wyvern is much better. I think that we have the better ship name. He does know your other ship, though.
Do a Jack Sparrow thing, you know.
Yeah. He does know your other ship. Your former ship, I guess I should say.
The Crimson Inferno.
If you say that, his eyes light up. Built atop the back of a dragon turtle. Yes?
Oh yes, it was the first mate for many years.
Truly a unique vessel. I could not forget it if I tried.
Sure.
No, it has been many years since I have seen them, but it is good to know that you are of good company. I am here now to take you wherever you so desire. Are we to pursue the Countess Sensory of the Cloud Giants? Excellent.
There's nothing more digging we want to do. I guess at this point we just go take it. Guess that's worked out so far.
Kick giant ass. Ask questions later. You all.
I'm just here for fun, boys.
You all board the airship. Begins a very long flight north, pursuing a moving castle in the sky. Unsure precisely of where to look, has a rough idea. And as you guys head north from Nightstone, passing over the cities that you've befriended and defended, you approach the Evermore, and you begin to hear this noise that, Ark, you in particular, you feel your scales like stand on end. And as you get closer, it gets louder and louder and louder, and you realize it's something screaming, roaring. It's almost unintelligible. But knowing Draconic, Ark, you would recognize this as a dragon crying out for help in absolute agony, being tortured. And as you pinpoint where it's coming from, you see this enormous castle set into the clouds, flying a mile off of the ground. And flying about it are griffins, winged men, giants, sailing about on clouds, a la Goku with Nimbus.
Description.
And you guys have found Lin Armal, the castle of the Cloud Giants. When we pick up next week, we'll fuck up some shit.
Yeah.
With that, my dudes, thank you very much for tonight. I know this one was less combat, more chit-chat to get you guys sort of up to speed with what's going on. And
Exposition.
yeah.
Exposition.
But next week we'll be right back to bloodied knuckles and cutting throats. So
and whack-a-mole
and
with
whack-a-mole.
bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Guy was beat with.
Thank you
I
guys
just
so
want
much.
to go on record
Yeah.
and say that my notes have gotten way better than when we first started, because the very first session that we had, my notes are literally Goldbrand has 75 kids, being Theta lit ? And that was it. Those are all my notes.
That's all you needed.
Accurate though. For the record, we do have in our chats since you've been gone, and that's sort of a rundown of everything that's happened since we've finished the in-between arc between Fire and Cloud. I'll go ahead and put some updated notes for the last couple of sessions, but try to keep up with things more or less for people who have to miss games and just want a refresher of what's gone down. But with that, my dudes, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Very happy to have you all here. It was very interesting to have 6 people again. It's been a hot minute since we've had 6 consistently. And with that, be good to each other. Love yourselves. Love one another. And is it Friday yet? All right, guys.
Peace out, homies.
Love y'all.
Guys.
Deuces.
Yeah.